Hello and welcome to Tales of Temple Tankard, remote edition. We are recording this now, so you'll be seeing this sometime in the future. But as always, we are happy to have you here. I am Jim, aka Argent Wind, and we are here for Avress, the Shattered World, as we continue our travels into the Nightmare Lands. As the last week, the group actually used the Waygate via Ember and Zorlos. Um, who gave you a stone that allowed you to transport via a platform that was set up and secure. The group came through into a very highly elevated, snowy landscape, seeing a ruined city to the north of them, where you spotted a couple of dragons flying around, white dragons, never seen before, and decided not to go up and mess with the dragons and whatever else was up there, and started heading down south instead, coming across a large chasm, wide, almost canyon-like structure where it seen that the ground had given away and collapsed. In going down into that canyon, at the bottom, saw the remnants of a road actually, and following that road deeper into, eventually, the canyon closed over and you were fully underground. Meeting down the road a little further, coming across a wagon and meeting a young dark elf man, a scout of some kind, who then um, you managed to have a peaceful encounter with, and he agreed to bring you back to the city, where you actually encountered the city of Nirval, an underground massive structure in a cavern. Um, deep underground. Um, with that, you guys met a few folks there, some of the elders there, and got put up in a place to stay for the evening at least. And pretty much we're going to pick up there as you are in a sort of like some rooms adjacent to like a cafe of some kind there. Um, having met a few of the elders, specifically Elder Mastias, the General Lorsan, and Arcanus Morstila, who spent time with you talking a little bit about magics and such. And so we'll pick up from there as you are discussing things and determining what you want to do from here. So, what is it you're up to, at least in this place? And Eska, I know you weren't here last week, so that's what you see. You were in a primarily dark elven city. And the people you do see wandering around here, there are quite a few, quite a number of people wandering around, are primarily dark elf, but with some interesting coloration and variations in skin tone, eye color, hair color, that kind of belie a mixed heritage, at least among the people, at least among the more current generation. So, what are you up to?
I am probably going to be walking around town, just getting the lay of the land.
Okay.
Uh, Headed back to where they thought the undead were coming into,
What ended up coming into where?
What?
and into the city.
Yeah, there's a giant collapse section that occasionally undead appear.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to be.
Just gonna hang out there for indefinitely.
Well, just until somebody comes and grabs me, but yeah, that's where I'll be.
Okay. Um, hey, we would have been told it's not a daily occurrence. It's like it happens once or twice a year.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not a
but never
common
mind.
thing. No. It's yeah. It was a situation that like the only times they ever have any kind of incursion or problem there is that. And if you do wander that direction, you will see you'll actually come across we'll describe that in just a minute here. As you're sort of wandering the city, that you do find yourself in that region there. How about the rest of you? What are you up to?
Just taking a rest, I think.
Taking a rest, okay?
Yeah, just kind of like cooking, just observing, like people observing.
Okay.
I'm
Really,
very
like,
interested in this whole thing because we've never been like anywhere like this before. I've never met these people before, and it's all very exciting. But when we were looking at the map before, my first instinct was I think we should go to Yorlock, and then everyone was like, "Oh, we'll go north," and we started going north, and then we saw the two white dragons, and we started heading south. But something tells me we should go to Yorlock because seems like a good place to start.
Okay. All right. So, just to I'll zoom in here a little bit on the map here, so we can see you guys started right here and seeing up into the mountains where this ruined city is, just a completely shattered, broken city. You did see among the rubble, with what used to be streets and buildings, you would see some what appeared to be undead wandering the streets, because it would just pass through solid objects. And then in the mountains above, around there, and around some of the ruined buildings there, you did see a pair of white dragons. And difficult to tell the scale. They were easily as big as the buildings that were there, so they were fairly large. Again, it was hard to tell exactly how large, but they were large creatures. Decided not to hit up there. Um, you ended up coming down here, and this is about where the chasm was, and then traveling the chasm, you ended up in near Vol right here. Okay. So, Ask, what were you saying? You were trying to do?
Yeah,
Not
just kind of
really
like
given. I mean,
people.
given a.
Yeah, just kind of like people watching, more or less.
Sure.
Just waiting for everyone to kind of recoup before we really start talking. Trying to
Okay.
figure out a role plan here.
Um,
Um,
the person who's going to spend probably the most time with you, especially Lucas and whoever else was hanging out in the cafe there, is Arcanist Morstila, as she is kind of the one who's a little more versed in what's been happening and what's going on, and more interested in like you and where you came from and how you got here and everything. She is definitely a spellcaster of some kind, arcane caster by her title especially, um, but more likely a wizard of some kind. She will tell you one very important piece of information is that conjuration magic is outlawed within the city. Um, Conjuration tends to be, she will tell you, it can be quite unstable at times. Sometimes the conjurations may come through much stronger or not at all, and oftentimes out of control. So we do not allow any sort of conjuration magics. Also, conjuration is effectively teleportation and such, and so teleportation can be very unpredictable as well sometimes. So it is very difficult to uh, ascertain what sort of complications can arise from conjuration type things. Um,
Is that
so,
is that all over the continent?
well, I've only been here. I've never really been anywhere, but it was not surprised me to learn that it might be that way all over. Um, in our most ancient histories that we have passed along and kept hold of, it was said in the time before the breaking um, that teleportation magic completely failed. People were cut off as the teleportation circles and such for the larger cities in various places were no longer working, and became everyone became much more isolated, and all of the networks they had for long range travel would just stop working. Um, or there are some cautionary tales of things that would go horribly awry, and someone would arrive, but maybe not with all of their parts attached.
Doesn't sound too good.
No, it's small scale, obviously, very minor things uh, are usually okay, but anything that summons creatures from another plane, or anything that is a long range travel beyond what you can see, is very, very unpredictable and difficult.
so, speaking of long range travel, uh, what we have some long range traveling to do, possibly. What do you know of other cities?
Hmm.
Uh,
Very little. As we have stayed here, we do know that uh, the cities closest to here, the other elven cities, were lost to us. Um, we are the only one that has survived. Um, the um, uh, the high elven city, uh, it was Hilvas. Uh, it was. There have been a lot of unstable uh, quaking of the ground, and the mountain city did not fare very well. Plus the unstable weather and terrible things that really devastated that region. However, my understanding is that the island of Elvar, where the Wood Elves were from originally, it was overrun by a mixture of uh, chaos and death. Um, so yes, it is. It is. Uh, Other than that, it is. It is. Little is known about the lands, other places. The human lands to the south, I know, were devastated by plague and just lifeless. Any information we have of that place, it is a wasteland of sorts, and it is known that Yorlok is a place of death. Um, we have we have there was no contact there, but in the earliest days of refugees and movement after the breaking, um, it was said that Yorlok was completely overrun by the dead. Um, as such, we have not really gone there. We've had occasional emissaries, travelers from the dwarf lands, the mountains, and there is said to be a number of underground strongholds or cities that have survived, similar to ours. Um, though the quakes make things a challenge, we've managed to prevent any large-scale destruction from them through our building techniques um, and the magics we can keep to shore up the area.
Maybe any other dark elf cities like this one? Or this is the only city?
It is. Well, uh, um, there is said, it is known that deeper and further underground, far to the west, there were other, but we do not have contact with them. And there's a definite like discomfort over talking about the uh those places.
Destruction of their entire civilizations slash
No, more
or
like they left that place. These
okay,
dark elves did ally with the elves in this region and have no contact with where they originally came from.
right.
Um, they are less than hospitable to others, and the idea of forming a civilization with our surface brothers and sisters is very much anathema to them.
Uh, I understand. Yes. Uh, it is a possibility we may have to head south. More than likely. Uh,
Well, we wish you the best of luck on that. We will do. I mean, we really can't provide much more information about the South as we do not travel away from here. This is how we have survived for so long, is to not be on the surface.
this may be a presumption, but we are looking for an individual, a spellcaster, a human man, an L. Um,
No.
British
Hmm?
shaking. British shaking. Well, we're looking for. Well, he's more than likely undead now, but uh, human dude and an high
Rary,
elf.
yeah,
And an
rare,
elf.
rary and Corwain.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about.
No idea. It is not someone that you ever had contact with. Um, and as the conversation continues, uh, and you will learn that they've had a lot of. There is not a large presence of magic within this city. I mean, some people have minor magics here and there, but powerful spellcasters in the city are just not something here. There are no temples. There are no like learning institutions of magic. In fact, it's actually against the city law to have a full scale temple here. There are some clerical type people, and there are some shrines and such, but nothing larger than a shrine within the city itself.
That's probably got a lot to do with how the cataclysm
Makes
happened,
sense.
doesn't it?
Yes, that
You,
makes sense.
based on what you know of it, yes.
Yeah,
For them, it's always been that way. Ever since
yeah.
the breaking.
Is there any there that we would recognize?
Um, Shrines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Probably not exactly because they are all elven deities.
Mhm.
And ones that aren't devoted to anything on the surface. Um, they will indicate that the high elf city, Helvas, did have a large scale temple, um, kind of worshiping an elven variation of Palor or Foltest, kind of a god of the sun kind of thing. Um, and uh, the refugees from there did say that in the breaking, the temple itself exploded. Um, and caused a lot of destruction around it. Not quite like what happened in other places where it vaporized everything. It just blew up and broke and shattered buildings and everything else. It was a lot
What
of
happened
damage.
to Raven Queen's temple, basically.
Potentially, yeah, similar. Um, uh, However, we'll cut to Athena there as you kind of have wandered through the city there and kind of suits there. It is a very gothic, pointy structure there. Not quite as like gothic looking exactly as the vampire's castle and what you saw the ruins of Hill Voss. Um, but it has sort of that gothic look to it. And you'll see in kind of looking around and asking around, eventually on the far eastern side of the city, um, you will see the streets sort of like kind of even out, and there's like kind of like raised platforms and everything else. But there is a large, what looks to be cave in off to the east. Like the sea just sort of ends and the road just kind of goes trails off to it's not maintained. And you will see this massive like boulders and rock slide and it's just obviously a massive collapse off that direction there. And there is like little trickles of water and rivulets there, and actually a little bit of a river or kind of a trailing, not what we would call a river or stream, but there is a little bit of water that trails down from that space there. Not enough to cause any problem, but you definitely just see that off in the direction there. Um, and uh, and wherever you go, you're drawing attention because you definitely don't look like anyone else here. Standing taller and not having the same look to it. Um, but people will sort of watch you, and occasionally one will ask you if you have any questions or need any assistance, or it seems word has spread at least a little bit of that there are visitors here, so people kind of know who you are, at least know of your presence.
When they say that teleportation is outlawed, or its conjuration magic is outlawed, how what is that punishable by? Like, is it like an absolute no, or is it, well, you shouldn't really do it, it's frowned upon, but
I mean, it's one of those. It will likely kill you, so it's done for your safety. like, like,
okay,
and summoning creatures can sometimes bring things unexpected. So, the conjuration, like conjuring things, summoning things, would be potentially uh, cause for banishment from the city, or if it's something that puts the entire place at risk, you might be put to death
right,
kind of
okay,
thing. Through teleportation is like if you try to teleport, they're gonna like no. It's just that you're taking your life in your hands if you do
okay,
it.
and then definitely no slard.
Definitely, yes.
Probably
They
a
Okay,
would
good idea
not
to
be
keep them away.
appreciative. Yeah,
At least
yeah,
in the
Hmm.
slot.
and there's me last session thinking, right? Oh, we could maybe Lucas could find something here in the city, and then we could leave and then teleport back to here. That would be great, but
yeah.
apparently not.
I mean, well, again, it's not. Again, I'll put this out here. It's not like it's absolutely impossible. It's just there are chances for mishap. And you've noticed that this whole time you've been here is that magic feels weird. It feels a little squirrely.
Yeah,
It's like it's not quite controlled, and that occasionally um, you just feel things like you have to kind of force it to do what you want it to do, which you never had that problem before. Hasn't been extremely difficult, but you also haven't done any major magics yet. I think the highest spell you've cast so far is 3. Uh, so
hmm
um, You get a
I,
feeling that the more I think Lucas is
I say I summoned my Pegasus. That's a
it's
conjuration.
level it's a level 4, isn't it? Yeah, you did. Yeah. It seemed to work okay. Uh, which um I would say I think you just missed it or it ran out like before you came down into here.
No,
You flew it down and
it's still got it. It doesn't run out.
oh, it doesn't. Okay, so you still have it with you.
Yeah.
So
I
they
was I
they
was I was going to dismiss it, but I'm thinking of
okay,
keeping it round now, just in case I need to,
sure,
rather than
yeah.
conjuring it again.
I mean, it definitely like people are like, oh my gosh. I mean, the idea that they might have heard stories of a winged horse, but obviously it's not something you see underground normally. So people are fascinated by it, but uh, most of them don't know it's conjured.
Yeah.
Uh, it will. I would say that our Marcela would probably recognize the fact that it's a conjured being, and just and that's part of where the conversation would come from is warn you against doing that. That uh, there have been many times when it's gone horribly wrong.
I'll explain to her once it's conjured. It's here until it
Yeah,
dies, basically, or until I dismiss it. So I will not dismiss it.
yeah, no problem.
We know this
Um,
this conjuration is safe.
yeah,
This
yeah,
version of it.
yep.
For now, till
Yeah,
it goes awry and tries to kill you.
No, I think it's when you
uh,
conjure something that it goes wrong.
yeah,
I assume that's
Yeah,
what they
yeah.
meant.
I know.
And that's what you described is that something unexpected will appear, or it will just fail, or yeah, or like the wrong thing will show up and become uncontrolled and go crazy. Um, so um,
Yeah, you might have got a unicorn instead.
Or a dragon.
um,
Mm-mm.
so with that, however, um, Athena, as you are kind of while you're kind of on the eastern side of the city, there, I'm kind of wandering through. Let's give you a little look at what that looks like a little bit because this is
Yep, there's a lot of me just wandering.
yes. And so effectively, yeah, kind of off in this direction, like this, at least like off, and then a little bit of water coming in through over here, like beyond or kind of around that corner is where it's completely collapsed. And the pathways and stairs that go up here are just sort of like watching that space. There's no real like dwellings or anything else beyond this point. You do see doors and other buildings that are kind of built into the walls, um, built into in this part of the city, where you're at there, they actually are building into the cavern sides themselves. Further in, kind of back the direction you came from here, kind of off camera this way, you'll actually see city streets and buildings built from stones that have been pulled some places, and all sort of this rounded, peaked things everywhere. Everything has like arched doorways. There's no like square doorways in a place like this. Um, but as you are in this vicinity, Athena, you will hear a bit of commotion. People are sort of like there are a number of people kind of wandering around um and there's a couple uh kind of calling out and kind of a chime or kind of a gong type thing starts ringing from up ahead here somewhere up in this direction here somewhere here and you can see sort of people mobilizing and moving into position as they're kind of moving up onto the stairwells here and uh, some of them seem to be arming themselves. Some people are moving away from the area. It's sort of just definitely a feeling of high alert and alarm.
I will take off running.
Okay,
Leave my weapon still stashed though, just in case. But it's like it's on my back.
sure. With that, um, one moment. Okay. As you start to get up here, kind of people looking at you, seeing what's going on here. Um, uh, something has come through. Something is coming from beyond the collapse. Um, and uh, kind of down as you kind of move up here, you'll see back in this direction here. It's kind of this open space there, and you'll see What sort of senses do you have? Nothing extra weirdness. Okay.
Yeah, no. I'm just normal Goliath.
Okay. So, what you will see is emerging from the rocks and stone, and where some of the water is trickling through there, you will see a few indistinct, hazy figures starting to appear, and there's a weird kind of shimmer in the air, um, in the space around there. You can't quite make out what's going on there, but there's definitely a few figures that are like have moved through the stone and are becoming visible. Um, and uh, there's yeah, a number of people already sort of like um, kind of casting some sort of like magics of some kind. They're illuminating and just causing illumination to appear. And as it does, some of those figures are a little bit more distinct. Um, and you can definitely see sort of a shimmering haze in the air around the space there.
So I can see now because I don't have dark vision.
There's actually a faint glow everywhere here, enough to cause. So, I thought you had something to give you dark vision. Nothing.
I have blind sight for 10
That,
feet. But
that's yeah. I ain't gonna help you too much there.
nope.
Again, there are like little lights and everything else. Nothing like bright there. So everything is sort of dimly lit to you. It's a little more illuminated, so you can see pretty clearly. But again, the figures that you're seeing that have emerged from the wall are still sort of partially see through and not really all there.
I have no way of contacting my peoples either.
Within
I could yell at one of them and say, "You know those new adventurer people that came in? Go get them."
At least somebody kind of looks at you and looks at them, and one of the guardsmen like shrugs and says, kind of points off there, and a little messenger kind of boy or a messenger person goes running off somewhere. I will say, even within a minute or so, barely within a minute of this happening, you on the other part of the city, you will start hearing alarms. People are mobilizing and moving around. Arcanist Morstila, oh, it seems that there might be a bit of a problem. That signal sounds when there's something coming through the collapse. I should go and see what is happening. Please, excuse me for a moment.
I think we'll head
Mhm.
off that way. I think
Yeah,
Athena went
exactly.
that way, didn't she? So
Yep.
You know, Athena kind of wandered off into the city. You don't know where she went exactly.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll
Uh,
go with her, definitely.
yeah,
yeah.
I did
Uh,
draw my weapon at this point.
reach
I'm seeing
reach
that.
for our little sending stone thingies, the little magical bracelet. Yeah,
That Bernie has to activate. Oh, sorry. At the end.
oh no. We have the magical sending stones. Those ones that we got from Alon
From
made
Grimbar.
a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just reach for that. Are
Go ahead.
you okay? We are looking. It's just sending. I just do sending, right?
To whom?
Actually, hold on. Do I have that? Actually, I might have one on me. Hold on. Hold on. I take it all back.
I know that Athena does not have a stone on her. That's why
I
she
think.
sent for somebody to go find him.
Oh, I thought he gave us all one.
Yeah, I
Athena,
think I have one. I have
Yeah,
one.
he
Athena
gave us
made
all.
the bracelets
Grimbar.
were made, but the
No,
only way they could be
Grimbar
active.
gave us all. Grimbar gave us all an item that has,
Yeah,
I think,
it's
3
a
charges of
sending item.
sending one.
Yes, he gave Sora that item. He did not give Athena
No,
that
because he
item.
gave it to us when he left, and you were here when he left. Sora was
Yeah,
not here.
I don't have that on my character sheet.
That's
I don't
because you
think any of
didn't
you
put it
did.
on the character sheet, but he did give it to you. You
I
do
I
have
don't
definitely
it.
remember
remember it.
getting it.
I don't remember getting it, so this is fine.
Okay. So was it a
Anyway,
rod of sending or just a sending stone?
I feel like it was. I feel like it had charges on it.
Okay. Then the
I
item
don't
is
remember.
called the item is called.
Looking at my character sheet, I'm actually not seeing it at all.
Okay, so I don't know
So I
if you
can
actually
tell
anyone actually put it on their character sheets here, but I will let you put it on there. It's called a Rod of Sending, and effectively it's a five. There's 5 sending stones, or you can activate them all to have a conversation with someone for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
So somebody has a rod of sending.
I've got a red ascending on mine. Yeah, on my
Yeah.
sheet.
So
I must
yeah.
have
So you
got it.
should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Pretty
think
sure I
Grimbar
have.
actually did actually gift you all with one because he essentially worked with somebody. He actually asked for something like that and the first one. So
Yeah,
you
I've
can
got one on my sheet too.
yeah
So
yeah.
as we get up and take off running, I will reach out and call Athena. And, are you okay? We are hearing an alarm. Are you near the problem? Maybe.
Athena will spin around, forgetting that we can talk in our heads, looking for you guys, and then remember that we can talk in our heads.
Well, it's
Uh,
actually as you hear the voice in your ear and
yep.
can reply. It's not
Yep.
telepathic.
Just as bad. Athena's still gonna spin around trying to look for it. Yeah. Ghosts. I think they weren't there, and then they appeared to be here. Is it a
We are on
Manatech,
our
Jim?
way.
Huh? No, it's not
Is it
magic.
not Manatech? Okay.
No, it is essentially an enchanted. Essentially, it's a set of linked sending stones on a rod, and so you can basically just activate one stone at a time and have up to 5 sendings, or activate them into an actual conversation for a time.
Okay.
It's called a rod of sending. All right. Well, in that case, as you're kind of looking around, you turn back there. You will see something kind of strange there. As from where the kind of the odd shimmering space is, you will see. Um, One moment.
Really should not leave you guys.
Cool. Yeah,
Mhm.
bad job.
You will see a squat sort of uh dwarven person with like a dwarven build. They're wearing some. You see a shield on them and a hammer in their hands. As they're kind of swiping at something there, then it shimmers into view. At the same time, a couple of distinctly things that are also shimmer into view with him as he's like waving his hammer around there. As we can go ahead and um, activate the camera for our new person here.
Woo! New person.
All right.
Hello, new
As
person. Nice to meet you.
and go ahead and describe yourself what they see as you're in the middle of fighting here. Uh, if
All
we have
right,
our
so it's a youngish dwarf, like he was saying. His hair is gray. He's got grayish white skin, uh, sort of like a cloth wrapped around one of his eyes. He's in a cloak with looks like some sort of black armor underneath. He's sort of phasing in and out, almost as if he's in two planes at one time as he's fighting, trying not to take damage at the same time, waiting for support to come in and get him. He's sort of, as you're looking at him, sometimes he's in color and you can see all the different colors of his outfit, and the other times it's more of a black and white as if he's in a different dimension.
yeah, you wouldn't recognize this kind of magic exactly, but Lucas would. And so, um, uh,
The
so,
ghost.
yeah, so this person shimmers into view. Hammer and shield out, or what do you have out? Yeah, I'm assuming you're
Yeah, the hammer. The hammer would be two hands, and then there'll be an animated shield.
cool. The shield kind of floating in position, kind of in front of him there as he's swinging away with the hammer with 2 hands.
We've
Excellent.
all seen Lucas using Blink, haven't we?
Not quite.
Okay.
um, Yep. Uh, so, yeah, you will see that, yes, as this guy shimmers into view, there are these two dark figures on either side of him that will shimmer into view as well. And you probably haven't seen these things exactly there, but they're sort of humanoid size and shape, but there's just almost like a black mass in the general shape of a person. They kind of trail off at the base of them, no like lower legs or feet or anything. And they're just sort of like reaching out. and just clawing at him in general. Um,
I will
and
swing at the people swinging at him then.
okay, so you move on in there, swinging away. Go ahead and just give me an attack and see what happens with this one. I'm curious to see. Um,
Just a regular attack with my
yep,
axe.
yep, sure thing. Um, Now you see that you will see that this tall, kind of gray-skinned, red hair, tattoos down there, with a giant axe comes waiting over you, swinging the axe nearby you, but then cutting into the shadowy figure instead. As you just rip through this shadow, it just hisses and turns to look at you. Um, as it just part through it. Um, it definitely like cuts through the massive shadow, leaving a sort of a line of brightness that kind of slightly sort of like almost stitched back together partially. But it's still sort of like a little more indistinct as you do that. Give me a second attack and see how this one goes.
Did it go? There it
I'm
goes.
seeing it.
That was a crit, dear sir.
Excellent. All right. And so eventually that first one sort of parts it and it kind of like fully turns to you. And this time you just kind of like cleave and it just kind of comes up from like where the arm would be on one side, up through the head and all the way through, just parting it. And it sort of disintegrates and rips apart and just dissipates into shadowed, like almost like shadowy tendrils that all disappear. Um, uh, Dow as this person um, just completely shredded a wraith right in front of you.
Turn to the red-haired person and let them know with that glorious swing I would also be a friend.
Ah, huh. Dwarf. I'll say to him in dwarf. Good to meet you, friend. Dwarven, not in dwarf. That's not a word.
Good,
Yes.
good. Very good.
Okay. Go ahead and make us a couple swings with your hammer there, or a swing, I should say. Not sure how many attacks you have, or whatever you want to do with your turn there. Just with fully initiatives yet. Oh yeah, yeah. You just sort of like um swing up there, and the hammer just sort of like it doesn't thud through it, but it's sort of like just kind of it's almost like you're just taking a hammer and smashing it through like jello, and it sort of like warps and shifts around you and kind of collapses on itself there, and then partially reforms again there, hissing and slashing at you. Um, uh,
You're
all
to be
around.
determined.
Was that? Yep.
To be
All
determined. Yeah.
yeah, TBD. Yep. Yep. So all around, you see people swinging in action there. You see people using weapons, trying to part there. Some of them are doing nothing because it's just passing right through them. Some of them are actually causing some damage to some and everything else. Um, uh, kind of what you're seeing initially here. Uh, Cutting back to where you guys are, as Morskila is sort of like as you go to join her, she will actually uh, look to you all and say, we can move faster. Just a moment, please." And she will sort of like wave her hands and effectively do it's a version of mass expedition retreat, and you find yourselves being able to move a lot faster. It actually also increases your movement speed partially, but it's a fairly short duration. You'll be able to close the space between where you are and where the collapse is within roughly about 30 seconds. You find the ground sort of blurring away as you sort of move off that direction there. If you're using your Pegasus there, you can definitely kind of move up above there. Pretty much everyone, the street's empty. Like everyone gets out of the way. Everyone kind of moves into into their homes. Um, just kind of like getting out of the way of anyone here. You see pockets of soldiers and more combatant type things kind of taking up positions in various places to kind of stop kind of waiting to for any sort of incursion or any sort of hostilities. Um, both Morstila and the three of you, you kind of rush off there. Athena and our new person here, you find yourself sort of like just kind of just that's unending swinging of your weapons and just kind of like taking out uh one incorporeal thing, a wraith here, a pair of specters here, a strange ghost-like entity sort of kind of apparates in front of you, sort of like getting in your face, and you between the two of you kind of dispatch it fairly quickly, as these things are affected by magic weapons, but non-magic weapons not really at all. So luckily you both have magic weapons to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so as you are effectively doing this here, there is just a wave of more of these creatures moving out from the collapsed area, kind of moving into view, coming out of so becoming more corporeal and visible, are appearing there. Like dozens and dozens of them are coming through now, and so yes, question there from Athena.
Yeah.
um, okay, please
Are
swing
you out
down.
of breath, dear dwarf? We can swing and talk at the same time.
Um, seeming more focused on the task rather than conversing. Um, uh, the one thing that uh, as you find yourselves kind of getting a little slash here and a little bit there, you're taking some damage, but nothing dangerously difficult yet. As you are both fairly hardy and tough. Um, However, there is a moment, as Lucas, are you kind of flying up above, or are you staying on the ground with your Pegasus?
I'll be just above everyone, just to
Basically,
keep out
up
of the
there.
way. Yeah.
Amethyst, are you on your carpet, or are you
Yeah.
okay? So you're on your carpet there. You're kind of moving on the ground there, just with a little extra speed boost, and being able to do your monkey stuff.
Yeah, monkeying around.
Okay. So you guys are like just flying down the street, literally in some cases, and figuratively in others, as you're just closing the distance there. As you kind of come into the area here, you kind of see this vast space ahead of you, and kind of see a bit of a glow up ahead there, and um, just a whole mass of people like attacking these ghostly figures everywhere. Um, and about that time, uh, they're actually one of the figures is uh, ghostly, but just sort of like kind of shreds of clothing and long tattered hair, as it kind of moves up to you, and you see it coming there. Dow, give me a religion check to see if you recognize what this is. Okay. Definitely incorporeal undead, some sort of a ghostly thing. You're not sure exactly what it is until you see it sort of move into space, move up. Um, Athena is sort of at this point just slashing at this specter over here, and this thing sort of like kind of fades into view. And at first you're like, oh, it's another ghost, and then you see its jaw, just his whole like face expand and go wide, like it's a whole like lower mouth, like lower jaw sort of like disappears, and this reach comes out at you. I need you to give both constitution saving throws.
You need a con save.
Mm-hmm.
14.
Okay. Okay.
Good time
So
for inspiration.
if you want it, if you it'd be a very interesting moment here. Okay. Um, So the screech happens, and you sort of like try to brace yourself here. Actually, because you saw what this was, we would have given you the advantage. So it works out either way. You don't need to spend the inspiration for it, but it's still going to happen anyway. Um, you see, like his hair, like the newcomer's hair is kind of white already, and you just see him kind of freeze for a moment, Athena, and just sort of locks up. His face is just frozen for a moment, and his eyes just roll back, and he collapses to the ground.
Oh no!
Um, as the wail of the banshee has reduced you to 0 hit points.
Oh no! Am,
Gee.
I'm gonna look over me, make sure I'm still good.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
shrugged it off like you kind of brace yourself and the kind of you hear the screech and this wail of just pain and anguish. However, one moment, you do take a total of 8 psychic damage.
I take 4 psychic
Yes.
damage.
And so as you kind of flinch at it and kind of reel away from it there, it drops to the ground next to you. Um,
The
uh,
goat, the wraith does, or whatever it is that made the scream, or my new
oh,
friend.
your new friend just
No,
collapsed to the ground.
not good. Okay.
Push
I
him.
gotta. What? No. So I'm going to pick him up with one hand, if I can.
Yeah, I mean he's lifeless, but
Mhm.
you're strong enough.
Yep.
He's
And
pretty
then
solid.
I can use my bonus action leap to get out of here
Sure.
because we're not alone, right?
Yeah, there's other people around you. Yes. You will, however, look and see that 2 other people nearby you have all dropped. They've both dropped as well.
Other people? Okay, never mind. I'm not
Yeah.
leaping. Oh
I mean,
Lord, people, be better prepared for this stuff. And then I guess I'm just going to swing with my axe, kill it, and make it dead so I can make safe.
okay.
Mhm, mhm,
Let's see. Go ahead and let me see. So you make a couple of attacks there. See how you do.
mhm. Do you want me to make the second one too?
Yes. Okay. Solid hit. So you kind of slash through it there twice there. And it's just like at this point the mouth kind of goes back to normal, but it's still obviously in this like weird like screaming. It's almost this like hissing. What would be a scream there? Like it's just now coming at this as a harsh whisper.
Mhm.
And it's just yeah, definitely in the middle of trying to hurt you. It will essentially just swing at you and just see if it can do anything. 1, 2, okay. No, that's gonna be a 19. Nope.
19 is
Yep.
my armor class.
Oh, it is exactly okay. So the first one you kind of duck to the side there. The next one sort of like brushes across you, and does 14 necrotic damage.
Also
It's
resistant.
good. Excellent. So you only take 7. So you're definitely positioned well to take these guys on here. So at this point, yeah, guys at your feet there. Those of you who've just arrived here, you kind of take this all in here, and you will see Athena obviously up there on this platform, kind of at the base of these stairs. You'll see sort of all these people around here and these ghostly figures running like flying or like flying and hovering and apparating out of nowhere. Just coming and going here. All told, it is just chaos. You kind of get a quick count there. Those the 3 that arrive. There's probably about 40 or so ghostly type things here, that are all spread out all over the place there, all different kinds. You recognize the 2 of you from those of you who are in Jakral recognize wraiths. A couple of you have seen specters before. You've even seen a ghost before. In fact, you've even seen a banshee before, as you have seen these various forms of undead, and um, they are swarming all around. You see all the dark elves. They're definitely doing what they can. The ones that don't have magical weapons have moved away and are sort of like just kind of just kind of retreating. Those that have are moving into place. Yeah.
As soon as I see Athena, my
Yeah.
wings would unfurl and
Sure.
like boom right there.
Okay, so you kind of just fly up and over top there.
Yeah.
Amethyst and Lucas, what are you guys doing in this space?
Head towards Athena.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a conversion there. You will see that she's holding on to this what looks to be a dwarf, although what's odd is they don't have a beard, but they have this sort of eye patch there and white hair, armor. There is a one thing. Let me double check real fast here. What happens if you go unconscious to it? Darn it. Okay. Athena. One thing when you see him fall, the shield that's hovering around him falls on the ground as well, so it's down at your feet there. So there's that. Um, um, so the three of you kind of all like move into that space pretty quickly here. Again, she's holding on to this lifeless, kind of limp-looking dwarf-like person in kind of under one arm, swinging the axe at these things around her. What would you like? What would the three of you like to do in terms of?
I will take out my flaming scimitar
Sure.
and start welling away at stuff. And
Go ahead and give me a couple of tests. We do that. Lucas, what were you doing? You were about to say something.
I was gonna ask Athena who's your friend.
I didn't get a name, but that lady screamed at him, and the three of them kind of just stopped moving and fell over.
Let's go ahead and make your attacks there on the banshee. Amethyst, how about you?
Extension.
I was gonna ask the same thing Lucas asked, but I'm gonna fly over and attempt to give a potion to the person that Athena's holding on to.
Okay.
I'll cast a spell on him.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Okay.
I won't do that then.
Okay.
I'll do like Eldritch Blast or something then on the banshees and things.
All right. So Dow, you kind of feel sort of a warmth rush back into you as you're being held by this very tall, muscular woman next to you. You kind of like your eyes blink open, and you will see some newcomers have arrived. You kind of look around there. First off, your shield's on the ground there, but you'll see a kobold in a very muscular looking kobold, actually a lizard like person. You've never seen a kobold before. With a flaming sword in his hand there, who's flashing out at the banshee that just dropped you. And you'll see a cat person. Strangely, you've never seen a cat person before, with dark fur and kind of purple clothes there on a flying carpet. Who's sort of like kind of moving to space there, and then what appears to be a elven person of elven descent there, with the neck of an instrument kind of poking up over one shoulder, who's just cast, who's going to be kind of looking at you, who's sitting on a white winged horse.
Of course.
And you kind of like blink to consciousness as suddenly you have 70 hit points as opposed to 0.
He probably thinks he's in heaven now or something. Like what?
Yeah. Like,
You know?
what is happening? Yeah. You've never seen a cat person before, never seen a kobold before, and I've never seen a Goliath before. The only person who even looks somewhat normal to you is riding a winged horse.
That you've never seen before.
You've seen horses before, I will say this, but you've never seen one with wings. Well, not like this one.
For some reason, only skills are working for me to roll.
That is so bizarre.
Roll.
It's
My
because
extension is working fine.
but it did 2 updates, so if you haven't logged on lately,
Yeah,
it
try
probably didn't
refreshing
update.
it. Maybe
you might want to
refresh it because I
Yeah,
think an
it could be.
update literally just happened.
Yeah, I was. I was able to roll from the monster sheet here, so I know it's working. But it.
Let me close out of that one
I think
second.
there was a new update, so go ahead and take care of that. You sort of just the Eldritch Splashes were ripped, the force images ripped into them, kind of tearing holes through their partially corporeal forms. But now this is what you see as you awaken, being held by this muscular, redheaded, gray-skinned woman.
Very muscular, by the way.
Alright.
Lots of tattoos.
All good,
As
by the way.
as my character comes to and he's in the arms of a woman, he goes, "Hello, pretty lady. Would you take me bowling?"
Yes, and I'll throw him at the lady.
Wow. Wow.
I will sit up from the ground and look back and put my thumb up and go, "Dwarves are very good for tossing."
Yep.
Mhm.
So you kind of throw him off in the direction there. She kind of pushes, kind of tosses you off toward where the banshee is there. Um,
Mhm.
as you do that, you do see that this little lizard person there, is like just slashing this flaming sword through it there, as the first hit. And then the cat person is like firing these like purplish like darts of energy through it there, and it just sort of like tears like it's like punching hole through fabric. Um, and the flaming sword just rips across it there, and she just kind of like arches her back in this like silent scream, and then rips apart, like kind of like almost like just unravels, in like almost like white tatters of fabric and uh
How
um
close am I to the lizard?
probably right there. He was kind of attacking the thing that just dropped you, so very close.
So I'll lean over and start sniffing the lizard and goes, "Smell like vampire, but not vampire. Why?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
Answer
better not
that
smell like a
one.
vampire.
uh, Eska's just killing stuff. Eska's on now.
Okay.
Let's kill mode. Let's kill mode. Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't respond, kind of moves off there and kind of spreads. So at this point, you kind of spread out and start moving in through here. It's kind of slashing and cutting and blasting and casting spells into. Um, so as he moves away from you, you can pick up your shield, and kind of press your hammer again here. I will say, uh, over the course of the next couple minute or two. It takes a while, as more and more things come through the space here. Nothing of it is a tremendous threat to you, because I mean it's all. I mean even race at this point aren't a challenge to you unless they swarm you. And with the number of people that are here, you find yourselves, not really, in danger of being dropped. Um, Occasionally another banshee will come up there, and recognizing what it is, the spellcasters drop it before she can get in range to unleash the scream. Um, as as weirdly enough, the dark elves fighting are very similar. They sort of at this point are have really taken up a tactical, uh, um, definitely taken up a tactical advantage of setting things up there. There's, Arcanus, Morciel, is leading a small group of spellcasters that are basically tossing fire bolts and, things like Eldritch Blast or things like, of that kind of nature, or magic missiles, and just kind of shredding the ones that, are in there as well. Um, and so after about a minute of just straight like chaos of more and more of these things showing up, getting shredded, dissipating, another one coming up here, two more, becoming corporeal over here. Eventually, the space, um, becomes quiet again. Obviously, um, the Dark Elves kind of move into position to kind of pick up their wounded and start healing, doing what they can to treat anyone. Um, but the group of you find yourselves, and sort of everyone sort of gives you a bit of a wide berth as the five of you now are sort of, amidst, uh, sort of the quiet among the storm, essentially. Nothing around you moves anymore. Just the five of you here, as this dwarf, uh, stands with you as well.
I will, in Dwarven, say, "You fight really good. Now, what's your name?"
He will look at you, but not in Dwarven. He will reply. He will say to you, "Name, name, name." He will raise his hands to his head as it sinks, and their tears will just start flowing from his eyes, and he'll just keep mumbling, "Name, name, name."
Oh no, I broke him. I didn't mean to break him.
What did you do?
I asked his name,
What language were you saying that in?
Dwarven.
No, what language did he respond in?
In common.
Common.
Oh, she doesn't understand common.
Yep.
Well, she enough to know that much. I mean,
Yeah.
you're like, why is he saying the word name over and over? It doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
Yep.
Okay.
He'll stop his crying, he'll look up, and you see like his face is just a blank terror. It just looks like his eyes are full of terror, and everything in his world is like completely lost. And his cloak, as he starts to fix his cloak, you'll see under his cloak he's wearing almost a black liquid armor. It actually shifts like gel and repairs all the damage that was there, and it turns itself back into almost brand new armor. And as he finishes his cloak and lifts back up, you can see, even though there's a cloth over his left eye, the weaving is enough that he can see, and you can actually see that his other eye is also a yellowy gold.
I will gently pat him on the back. There. No need to cry.
Thank you. I needed that. I needed the burp.
You're welcome. So, you don't know your name?
And he will then start touching
Okay.
his fingers and go, "Didn't count. I didn't count. I didn't go 1, 2, 3, 4. Hide.
Ah.
I broke him. Your turn. Somebody else's
And
turn.
do you actually go and hide? You kind of
He'll just kind of shrink up a little because he's really embarrassed. He didn't see the wraith and he didn't count. He started interacting with people, which he doesn't usually do, and the wraith got him because he wasn't ready.
yeah. And yeah. So at this point, yeah, a few others are kind of like kind of checking on you. There, a few people have been roused. The ones that were dropped by the banshee had been taken, like pulled away, and then administer some sort of thing to heal them or keep them from passing on. Like effectively, the banshee. If you fail to save, you just drop to 0 hit points immediately. And start making death saves. And so, luckily though, because of, I mean, there wasn't any danger of our new nameless person being passed away as he had aid right there. Um, but everyone sort of like it gives you a wide space there. A few of them are kind of looking at you, bit of awe, respect, as you were just like tearing through things and doing stuff that most of them can't do. At least one of the Arcanists companions down there is kind of muttering and pointing at the horse that Lucas has there. And you can see Morsteel just sort of like kind of placating and like just obviously like telling them it's okay. Um, as at least one of them looks a bit alarmed. You can kind of pick up those with the insight checks there. Can definitely see that there was a bit of alarm among some of the lesser spellcasters down there. But you have someone among you. So what are you doing?
I'm gonna ask Mustilla. I'm gonna say, is he usually here? Like, you know this person?
No, never seen you before.
Oh,
Where did you come from? What where were you? And a dark elf there in kind of robes, spellcaster type of robes there is standing, moves up and talking to you, nameless.
I'll fix my cloak and tell him I was trying to get to land on other side. I was trying to get to island.
Oh, you were there.
Shrouded in fog. Drifts the phase.
So, how did you come here then. And you and to kind of I'll kind of rewind the last 5 hours for you, as you had arrived at this fog shrouded island, continuing there, putting your stuff away and kind of moving in there. Within about 10 minutes of getting on the island itself, you started to see things moving, started to hear things. And within 5-10 minutes after that, you were being pursued. You dispatched a couple here and there, thinking no big deal. And then more showed up, and then more, and then more, and until you actually had to kind of flee. You managed to get into this dark, like structure that was roughly, I mean, about 30 feet circular, partially ruined, partially collapsed there, but it's still intact enough there, and went down into this thing here, and essentially almost like a train, like a modern day train station is kind of you go down into this space there, or like a subway station there, kind of move down into this like tunnel structure there. Um, you were just being pursued by this endless wave of undead rushing after you. Um, as you went down into the structure, um, down into this thing here, you were seeing more and more like water and rubble and collapsed sections there, and eventually were forced to go ethereal, to be able to get you to move through this space without being slowed down. Of course, the incorporeal things didn't care and still kept chasing you, and you essentially led them on a merry chase for a good 5 hours through this tunnel until you came through into this open space here, uh, continuing to sort of fight them off as they swarmed in around you. And so that's what you have experienced recently, and how much of that you want to impart, you can go ahead and do so now.
I got down into the tunnel. I see the rocks, and I'm like, I'm a dwarf, so I know much about stone cutting and rocks and building, and I'm like, very fine tunnel. At one time, very, very fine tunnel, and I follow the tunnel. I dodge to the rocks. I swat at the wraiths. I swat at the bunches. I swat. I run to the rocks. I'm in the rock. I'm out of the rock. I'm in the rock. I'm out of the rock. I'm in the rock, and I'm here, in the arms of beautiful lady who would like to take you bowling.
And
she
I
bowled me.
do, and I do hand you a goblet of ale while you're telling your story.
It is going
Not a
to
tankard.
flush.
A goblet.
A goblin.
Gotta keep it classy, you know. Get the pink middle pinky up.
Um, how long has it been since you had an actual decent ale?
Been
You
long
need?
time. It's been long time. Not even sure if this decent ale, bad ale, good ale, bad ale. It's been long time.
Yes, so you drink some there, and it's like it brings back faint memories, maybe, but yeah, it's
I will, in kind, get out of my water container, pour water which has rocks and rubble and sticks and water, and I will give goblet back.
No, you keep it so I can fill it again. I like him. Can we keep him?
I will drink the water with the rocks and the little sticks in it. Chew the sticks and swallow.
Well, that's a little weird. He's weirder than me. We definitely need to keep him.
The water does go down a little easier if you don't, chew the sticks.
Don't tell him that. He'll choke on a stick.
It fills the belly so there's no hunger. Got to keep the hunger down. The hungers all the time.
Oh, do I still have rations? Do I still have some rations?
Yeah, definitely. We've got
I'll pull out a day's worth of
I
rations out of my pack.
I threw them at the wolves. I
You
don't
did,
have
yeah.
rations. I need to get
I've got
some
mine. You
So
can
they
have
hand
some of mine.
so they hand you some food. Well, I mean, it smells very interesting, and
Oh, my
some sort
rations
of
bugs. My rations
Oh,
are
okay.
Ew.
Oh, No problem.
I've got
Bugs
some
good.
Yep. You
spicy
crunch away on the bugs
noodle
there.
Bugs.
mix,
You watch him eat the bugs without a problem.
Yep.
some like mushrooms and
Not the mushrooms,
like
but bugs.
moss type stuff.
Sniffs moss. Sniffs moss.
Yep.
Licks moss. Eats moss.
I'll
Um,
Oh
eat your
dear,
mushrooms.
not another moss eater. I'm going to hand in my rations that are actual food, not
the
bugs.
actual like dried meat and cheeses and biscuit type things.
Exactly.
Uh, food that you haven't had before, but very very tasty and very different. Less a little less crunchy and earthy, and a little more meaty and um.
This
Yeah.
food not as good as I remember bugs.
Okay.
Very spicy bugs. They've got some sort of crazy mix I cook them in, but they're fantastic. I have more where those came from.
Can't speak for the bugs, but I can speak for the mushrooms because they have the same spice.
And he'll keep looking beyond you. Just can't believe how many people. So many people. So many
Yeah.
people. So many people. So
Yeah.
many. So many. So many people.
And they're all dark skin, sort of pale hair, varying colored eyes, and all sort of same. Well, yeah, the ones that are nearby you are all dressed in some sort of armor and have weapons and such. That they look like warrior type things. Um, but all like very very dark skin, if not fully like completely black skin. Um, and they all sort of like a bunch of them are watching you, and Marcela, after making sure you're all okay, she's kind of making the rounds around there with her team there, kind of making sure there's no more lingering undead. um she'll send a couple folks to go up and actually check the collapse itself there, and just kind of you can kind of see them sort of like using some sort of divination magics on the space to see if there's anything unstable, any kind of problems. Um, but um, yeah, they give you kind of open space there until um, you're able to kind of. So one of the lesser armored people there reminds you a little bit of Kidos in terms of their kind of one of those scout type people there. Will come up and I will take you back uh, to the cafe if you want to the to where you were staying. um it seems everything here is taken care of.
Are you
Okay.
sure?
I'll animate
Okay.
my shield, and the shield will be there, and I'd be like, "This is Tavak. Tavrak, meet them.
So your shield has a name and you don't. Okay.
Name, 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 name,
I'm
name."
gonna I'm gonna use my see invisibility just to check around the whole area that there's nothing else that
Okay.
is like hiding or anything.
And yeah, you'll it's similar what number of them are doing as well. They're scanning for any sort of incorporeal undead or anything ethereal there, and you're fairly certain there. After a good scanning of the area there, there's nothing else it's still lingering at least. Um, uh, you will see one thing you will spot is um, there are some sort of weird, almost like tattered fragments of either garment or hair. It kind of flows and moves. You can only see it when it's invisible. Or you only see it when you receive invisibility. You can't see it physically. It's there, just sort of a little like it's almost like it's almost like some white fabric trailing in the breeze. But it's only when you only see it. It's obviously ethereal still,
Oh,
which means you can see it within see invisibility, but you can't see it physically.
weird. Um, and is it just floating around?
It's a little patch here, a little trail over there, a little bit on the rock over here. It's a little, it's just something that's there in the ethereal plane.
Oh, is that like rift related? Do I think, or is it just?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's definitely something that's sort of not quite fully in the material plane.
Okay.
Whether there's no active, you don't see an active rift or anything here. Um, but give me an Arcana check. You see, yeah. So with that, there is something of you were at a very close proximity to the rift that opened up, and you helped seal it. In Port Oris there, it has a very similar energy to it.
Okay.
Like there is something of Shadowfell among these tatters that are here. It's not like maybe it at one time was near a rift,
Uh-huh.
or with but it has that similar energy to it from the rift that you closed.
So there's no actual rift here for me to close.
No.
Can I touch the fabric? Can I feel it?
Yeah, with that Arcana check there, you kind of move up to it there, and you all see him at this sort of move up.
Oh,
You kind of see your
Going robot, Gem.
going
I-
robot.
Bond robot.
Oh, I think you're okay now.
yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't see a blip. Anyway, so you'll see sort of you see Amethyst sort of move over, and also she's kind of trailing her fingers along something, but you don't see anything there. Amethyst, it feels cold to the touch, but like you move your hand just goes right through it. You feel a bit of a chill from it, but you can still see it there, and it's almost like it's almost like you can trail your fingers along it, and it just passes through your hand. You feel a little chill.
That's really weird. Okay. I'll point it out to Arcanist. Yeah, that woman.
Marcela.
That was,
Marcela will come
yeah.
over, and you can see as she moves with you, you can see sort of her eyes are glowing a little strange, a bit of a strange shimmer around her eyes. And oh yes, the ghost fragments. We do see them on occasion. Yes, one moment, and she'll actually cast up, and you'll see sort of a shimmering sort of like hand, like a mage hand appear. And the mage hand will sort of swirl around it, and with your there, sort of like almost it wraps around it, and you'll see it kind of float over to her, and she opens up a pouch of some kind, a little satchel, and disappears into the satchel. And when the mage hand comes back out again, it does the fragment is gone.
Oh, okay.
It is it is what we can use. Some of our combatants will use this to be able to affect them, even though there's no actual enchantments on their weapons. It is a way we can deal with these things. Only the incorporeal can come through this way. We've never seen anything solid come through.
Okay.
But these incursions do happen. Usually not on this scale. They must have followed your strange friend there. Kind of
Yeah.
yes.
Hmm.
I only know a bit of rumor of what is beyond the tunnel, beyond the collapse. Um, I know that route did go all the way to the island before, um, and there was a place to embark, sort of take the road from beneath the waters.
Have you ever tried to dig it out before, or
No, the collapse is too unstable. It would flood our entire city if we did much with it. Um,
Hmm.
it is our understanding that the way beyond is completely flooded.
Why do I feel like somebody lied to these people?
I was wondering the same thing. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is a big maybe. You know, a small city separated all by itself.
I
This
mean,
incredible day.
there is water coming in there, isn't there? So
Yeah. Oh,
it's
and nameless. I mean, name there. Yeah. Beyond that way, it was all like collapsed rock and water. There was no like every time you shimmered back to material, it was water, and immediately go back again. Like, so you really couldn't. You can confirm that it's flooded beyond that collapse there.
Yeah, I don't think it's that unbelievable that it would be flooded if we messed with it. But maybe there's a way to help sort it out after we fixed everything else.
I mean, the only thing that would be, it would change what's there is to, I would assume, remove the corruption, whatever it is animating the dead.
Yeah.
And whatever is keeping the place shrouded in fog and such. It is, I mean, the last of the survivors that came and joined us here before the collapse told us of terrifying things, of undead and strange, twisted fey things. They said that in the breaking times, the land was overrun, and a complete chaos of energies of life and death.
Maybe there are rifts open right over there where they're coming in.
Potentially, I don't know. I mean, we've never been able to go investigate, and the ones that fled were. I mean, none of them spoke of what was there beyond the terrible things.
Okay. We can try and fix it.
Yeah, I say maybe we go over, close it from the other side. Yeah.
What's over on the other side? I look over at our new dwarf friend.
No, no go, no. Other side, no. The island, no.
Are you sure you want to take this guy with us?
You weren't there long, but it was like within. Yeah, it didn't take long before you were completely swarmed by undead.
I don't like fog.
Look, we can handle it.
Except we're not going there. We're going somewhere else. We've got another task to do.
Listen to half elf.
Okay.
Elves,
I mean,
elves smart.
well, that's
He
a matter of opinion.
Walks over to the elf, sniffs the elf. Smell like vampire, but not vampire. Why? Why you smell like vampire, not vampire?
I don't smell like a vampire, I think.
What?
We've met a vampire, so we do. Probably.
I don't.
Wait,
You
how
were
do
with
you
us.
know how do you know what a vampire is?
Smell like vampire. But
Like
not
you've met a vampire?
Why? Why are you not
But you-
vampire?
But you've met
Smell
a
like
vampire?
I mean, he's just come from a place that's filled with undead, so probably.
Have you met vampire? Vampire, no vampire.
Vampires are bad.
Smell
I
it.
met one, but
You
like
smell
he
it.
didn't eat me, so
Why? You met vampire recently?
yes.
You have bite.
No, look, I make sure.
So
I didn't see you showing your boobs.
I hear yes, boobs. You female. I hear boobs. They bite.
Boobs don't bite. I
That's
promise.
what Sora would have said.
Yep.
Red hair though. Red hair though. Vampires and red hair. Could be.
None of us are vampires right now.
Yep.
Ask in the future,
Smells-
maybe, but right now.
Looks at Kobold one more time. Vampire?
Not at the moment. It's a possibility for the future, but not right now. Who knows? Who knows where life takes us? It's a
Now,
big question.
count 1, 2, 3, 4, and hide, hide, hide.
And I do have fangs, but I'm not a vampire.
Why? Why are they counting?
Must count, must count. When you go to lands outside, nightmare, nightmare, nightmare. You count 1, 2, 3, 4. Hide, hide, hide. Must hide.
What are you counting?
When you move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hide.
See,
More
this is
than
what I'm
6,
saying.
more than 6, more than 6 bad. Hide, hide in lands, hide in lands. Hills not so bad. Lands, oh, no.
I think he's the weirdest person I've ever met.
Where
Saying
are you?
something.
Where were you from before you were on the island?
I, name. He'll start crying. Name,
I think if he's forgotten
name,
his name, he's probably
name.
forgotten everything else.
Remember the name of his shield.
It's probably because it tells him. Is it speaking
Thorvak,
to him?
Thorvak, meet Thorvak, meet. And he's pointing at Elf. Thorvak,
Lucas.
meet.
Lucas.
Thorvak, Lucas, Thorvak.
Does your shield speak to you?
Yes, doesn't everybody shield speak to them?
I don't have a shield, so no.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, nobody else in the party. Nobody else already has a shield.
No. Nope.
Everybody in this party missing out on great adventure. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hide.
This is
Okay.
why you don't go to the Nightmare Lands, people. This is why we don't play with vampires, because we get people like him.
We're in the Nightmare Lands. We will be
Well,
okay. We'll be fine.
there's no going back right now. Yeah, we are
Uh,
here. We are
I
in the middle of
mean,
Go
it.
back.
Yeah, what do you want to
Go
do?
back.
Teleport out of here?
Go back.
see? No, let's fix it and get out of here. That's what we're gonna do.
If you go in
Yeah.
Nightmare Lands, I go with you. I go with you if you go in Nightmare Lands. I go with you. Help
Aren't
you
we
count.
already
1, 2,
in?
3, 4. Count.
We're in the Nightmare Lands. Yeah. We are gonna
No,
fix this. We're gonna fix this and make it all better.
you in great city, the best city. This city, great city. Nightmare
Yeah.
Lands, no.
What about the
city.
surface? Do you know anything about the surface?
And it's just horror over his face. Not a safe place to go.
That's where we're going. You want to come with us? That's where we're going.
If you go there, you need guide.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you?
That's
You need
you.
Dorvak.
Okay.
Your shield knows.
The nose
Shield.
knows.
Hide behind shield.
Ooh.
Hide.
ADHD.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Just so you guys again have this conversation here. People can give you a lot of space. The little guy will take you back to the cafe area there, and it's kind of you'll be given some food and some drink. As eventually you'll see General Lorsan and Arcanist Morstiel will both arrive to kind of find out more about what you encountered, what you experienced, and just if there's anything odd about it or anything else, and this new person that came along. Um, and so you kind of pass along the same information of what you encountered, what you saw. Since you know all the creatures there, you can name what they are and what they can do because you've actually encountered them before. Yes. There's no name one to fly on a carpet, um, or on a horse. Um,
Sorry, I can't fly. I have a horse, but it's in the saddle thing.
yep. Which is interesting.
The
Seems to
Conjuring.
work.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because it's a conjurer.
You
Right.
conjured up the horse. And it came through just fine.
Wonder if it's in the food.
Um,
What's in the food?
The reason they can't conjure things very well?
No, it's because there's loads of rifts and everything, and this is all affected by the cataclysm and stuff. Magic's unstable here, like it was after the whole thing happened. The breaking.
Nameless. You never had a problem with magic.
Mmm. We
Huh.
don't know that.
I mean, as they mentioned, the problem having a problem with magic and being unstable, you never had a problem with it.
He probably doesn't remember, so I'm not going to trust anything he says right now.
I mean, well, he didn't say anything. Just letting him know. So yeah, more food, more drink. You guys can kind of make plans what you want to do here. Effectively, it seems that there's not much here to drive you to your goal. The in general, the Dark Elves don't know much about the surface. They know a bit about from the stories of what happened out there, but they don't know. Effectively, the only refugees that came here were of the elves, and so there's really nothing of what happened in the rest of the continent, other than just general rumors that they would have heard about.
Do they know how far it is to travel to Yorkville?
So Yorlok is about
Yorlak, I mean. Sorry.
yeah. They seem to remember it's by land, probably a week, maybe 2 weeks, roughly. By ship, probably about half that if the weather is good, going along the coast. As they do know that you're like the coastal city. But obviously that's all based on old information. So yeah, a week to 10 days, give or take, for better weather or anything else. Uh, Pulling out your map, kind of looking things over here, and I'm gonna I can't actually change. Actually, I can change that. There it goes. There you go. You'll see that yeah, it seems to be probably. And this map is not exactly the scale. This is kind of a rough map put together by Zorlos. It is not a perfect to scale representation, but it's general areas. Nameless. You recognize some of the landmarks on this place there when you kind of see that you're up here currently, on this map, and you kind of see the symbol for where your lock was. You can kind of pick some areas that you know a little bit about, or have encountered there in terms of where you traveled. You kind of put it together a little bit where you sort of things here. Yeah.
Point on map. Nothing. Nothing. Bugs good. Plenty bugs to eat. Plenty worms to eat. Nothing. Banshees. Wraths. Demons.
No, that, they're down. Those down here. Human lands are wasteland. Yeah, yeah.
Mountains full of bad. Full of bad everywhere. Heard rumors. City. City Yorklock. Gone. Dead. Cultists bad. Many bad cultists. Raised dead. Fight armies. Necromancers. Raised dead. Fight armies. Fight. Bad.
I guess that means we're going that way.
Vampires too.
Cultists and vampires?
Nope. Nope. Mm-mm.
That's why I say smell like vampire. But why not vampire? Smell like vampire. Don't understand.
What did you say was in the mountains?
Vampires.
Demons. Devils.
Demons?
South of there.
Horrors. Then he'll start speaking abyssal. If you know
Shoot, dude.
Abyssal, he'll
Speak
say you
Abyssal?
need to learn to speak to demons and devils.
That's what we
Yep.
got you for.
Yeah, he starts speaking Abyssal. Those of you who can recognize the
Yeah.
language or have either Abyssal or Infernal.
Yeah, I can speak Abyssal.
Yeah.
What's he talking about?
I would assume probably just kind of the things you've seen in terms of like the wings, the claws, the there. Just to clarify, there's not much like they are seen in the hills along here, but they're very much seen south of there. Like the further south you go, the
Yes.
worse it gets. Yes.
Orklands, no longer Orklands. Don't go past mountains. I go down to the hills. I've been through the hills. No. Far as I go. Alone.
So if it's not all clans anymore, what is it?
They've got claws. They float. They bite. They
The
turn
wraith?
dead. They turn dead. They turn you into the dead.
The things we just fought?
More worse.
More worse.
They turn you into undead.
They kill you. They bring you back as army.
Oh, we fought people like that before.
Then
I can't
you
think you
got
could
this all
really call
sent.
them.
It'd be piece of cake. Pie. Potato. Chips. Can't remember. Piece of something.
So necromancers.
Many necromancers, many cultists who are necromancers, who are like work for the necromancers, but they're cultists, not necromancers. And they infiltrate and they spy and they fight each other and they all try to get control. But I would think at one time Cataclysm was good. Got rid of most of them. But now they come back.
The
I don't
vampires
know.
come back?
Do vampires really die?
I mean, yes.
I've never seen dead vampire.
We've killed a few.
They turn to
Yes.
ash.
Seen
Tina's,
lots of ash.
Tina's never seen them.
No, we've seen them.
Lots of
Whoops,
other
tonight.
lots of other undead though. Yeah, you definitely have seen quite a few other undead.
Lots of undead. Lots
Yep.
and lots of undead.
Yep. The descriptions he has a bit the idea of like undead and everything else. You're no stranger to it there. And the fact is, talking about the island over here, and it's not unheard of that. I mean, you've seen rifts to the Shadowfell open up in Death March. They do. The rift will open up and things will come out of it, and they'll close up again. You saw one start to form in Port Oris. And so like descriptions of where these places are, it's would not be surprising to find that there are rifts here to Shadowfell. And based on what he's describing there, Yorlock is probably a large rift there. Those of you actually yes. Yes, give me a history check. And Lucas, give me a religion check. You're the lore bard, so okay, that's good.
No.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, you're kind of thinking back to it there. What you do know of Shadowfell is just like there are beings in other planes that aren't necessarily the same as everyone else. Shadowfell has living people there. There are living beings in Shadowfell. They aren't. It isn't all undead. Now, are they right in the head? Are they? What are they like if you're from that place? Um, probably not very good from these two here. There's even a 22. Yeah. Yeah. You do know that there are living beings that live in the Shadowfell, um, just like there are non-Fey creatures in the Feywild that live there or Fey adjacent. Yes. Um, so Thavrock, the shield. You just see a shield that did animate and move around him, but you don't hear any voices from the shield. Does not communicate with you.
We didn't hear any voices from the shield.
Nope.
So he's
To
talking to
actually
himself.
officially introduce ourselves, my name is Esk. It is good to meet you. Yes.
You go Thavrock, Esk, Thavrock, Esk, Thavrock.
I did just introduce myself as Amethyst to Mr. No Name and to Favrock, but obviously Favrock didn't speak back to me. So
Yep. You already heard, Lucas already told you his name there, and
Yep.
the big tall one who was holding you hasn't introduced herself yet.
I did.
Okay.
Okay.
Way back
Yeah.
there when you were fighting. Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah. Right.
mhm.
Cool. So yes,
I just
at this point
didn't
you know.
introduce myself to the shield. That's all.
Right. So, um, as I said, you guys have time to kind of regroup, make a plan, get an idea. Like I said, Lorsan and Morciel were there to kind of find out what happened with you, what you know, and effectively they're sort of like, well, what is your plan? What do you wish to do? We can provide some materials if you're going. You mentioned going back out to the surface, so I would, though I would caution against it. Obviously, you're not from here, so I would assume that you would not want to stay here forever, and your new friend is obviously not from here either. So, um,
well, we can't help if we stay here, can we? So
yeah, I mean, mm, I think for the most part, we have existed for centuries, and will hopefully exist for many more centuries. As Lord Sun sort of like kind of the idea is like we can take get the sort of thing of like, yes, military person, we can take care of ourselves. Um, yeah. But
wouldn't it be nice if the surface was like safe though, and you could maybe, I don't know, grow some food on there and
he kind of like looks at you, glances up there, and kind of squints his eyes a little bit. It's too bright up there. This is our hope. It would be nice to have less worries in our home, that's without a doubt. But for the most part, we are content, and I don't know, someday we may be able to branch out into other places or reclaim some certain areas. But I think for the most part, we are doing well for ourselves, and
Uh,
appreciate.
I know how
And
you feel with the sun, although you do kind of get used to it a little bit. It does take some time, but it seeing the sun is nice sometimes.
Yeah,
we could get some goggles made for you and get some artificers in this place.
hard advice.
Ask will like gesture to his like big hat. That's like the big, giant rice hat thing.
Um,
island
it
very foggy. You go to island very foggy, no sun.
uh, no, the island is a little too hostile for our people to move out into, and I don't think that the fog there is really natural.
Make more babies, more people, more people, more babies, more babies, more people. Take over island.
Um,
You want to have babies there? My God.
no, I think we are very careful with our population.
Jim,
Yeah.
we're in this like dark part here, aren't we? Where the undead are coming from, is it this end? So they're
Mhm.
coming from that island.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that smudge across the way is the tunnel.
Okay.
Yeah, and so essentially this city is almost at the coastline essentially, and so the collapse, obviously, the water coming in would be the seawater from the strait.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and I mean, so over conversations that you have with them, you'll find that yes, the three elven, well, the two surface nations, um, essentially, while they were friendly and not never no, never they were never really united until the dark elves that moved into the region there created this underroad, this sort of bridge underneath, and their city that grew up here was sort of a point between the two that they could come, that the high elves would come down into the roads, and then across to the wood elves would come across there. They would meet sort of in the middle, and so yeah, it was um, for a time. Elrenar was the sort of united homeland of the elves here.
Mhm.
I mean, that all happened centuries before the Cataclysm. Um, but yes, you get an idea that these the dark elves that are here are there are other dark elves out there that maybe you don't have contact with anymore.
Mm. So what do we want to do? Do we want to go out onto that island, or do we want to head south and go and figure out the whole, I don't know, cultists and vampires thing down there?
Well, the plan was to head to the city, to the south.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no name. What little you know of the area here, you can kind of pass it along, and well, it's a wasteland. Like you've never heard of settlements out there. It's just scrubby, like desolate, like
Low
um,
vegetation.
yeah. You don't see much in the. I mean, there are occasionally sightings that you would have heard about, maybe of some large creatures roaming the area. Um, but again, nothing that's like um, nothing that's really good for sustaining a settlement of any kind or any kind of life. Um, so that's what's, as far as you know, out there. But then again, you haven't explored all of it. You didn't travel across it. Just what you've heard about what's there, and what you saw from the coastline as you moved along there.
The side of the hills and the coastline. Yep.
Yep. And south, well, south of those hills, more and more demons and such.
Demons, devils.
Occasional
Like-
savage, like
Yeah.
humanoid.
Some old orcs.
Yeah. Yep.
Then I guess we're going south.
Long journey south.
I
Yeah.
need rations
Okay.
before we go.
Of
We've
course,
Go on.
we can provide some things. Yes, I mean, appreciate it. I mean, you have ways of getting more food too, because you
Mhm.
have a box
Yeah.
of food.
Yes,
We've got a
but it's
box.
not.
And
A spoon.
I'm just
Rations aren't going to be much better.
no.
Their travel rations are not made for tastiness.
And everything here is like mushrooms and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is kind of why I wanted it.
Okay. But,
Okay.
I mean, they will definitely provide you with some food, some
Mhm.
dried food stuff and all that. And so basically, I mean, they can each give you a week's worth of rations. Um,
Rations. Mushroomy flavored rations.
yep. And so they will. I mean, again, you can stay. They're not going to rush you on out, but I mean, obviously, you have places to go, so they won't hold you back either. Um, uh, no name is the plan to stick along with them.
Yes, if they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
go, I told them if you're gonna go into Nightmare Lands, I go with you. You need guide.
Okay.
I asked him if he was a guide, and he said his shield was a guide, which is, yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, we've cut to heading on up. You guys, so essentially you're escorted back out the way you came into the city, out the western gate there. Again, this large like bridge structure spanning that goes up into where the road is at. And again, as you pass over, you pass this massive gatehouse, where a lot of soldiers are stationed and everything. On either side of the road, this large stone platform, and down below as you pass over this arch from the gatehouse to where the road is, you can see that there's what these almost like a you can see the gleaming of water down below, some sort of an underground lake or river type of thing. It's hard to tell from this. It's a good 50 feet down to it, so you can kind of see the water down there. Um, uh, yep. And so you just shaking all of your hands. Are you real? Are you real? Um, Uh, those are the dark elves that escort you back out there. I'll shake your hand to his name. Yes, we're real. Yes, yes, we're very real. We've been here for centuries, and we will be here for a lot longer. And if you can ever come back, he addresses all of you. You are welcome to do so. We are happy to have all of you here. Um, uh, to join us whenever you can. We wish you
Mhm.
luck in your travels.
Well, maybe when we fix everything, we'll be able to teleport back here. What do you reckon?
I I would advise against that, but it is uh, my understanding is that the magics are still have never been stable. It is not a localized thing. It is quite uh, this entire region, maybe the entire continent.
It's been one of our main modes of transport, along with an airship.
Airship, but not these
Airship?
things.
It's
The
like a
ship.
ship, but it, flies
And yeah,
in the air. Yeah, hence the name.
Hmm.
Um,
Um, yeah, so they talk to you all. Again, they're shaking your hands. Thank you for being there. And you, sir, you have no name. It says. Huh. All right then.
Name.
Can we give him a name?
there's no name.
No, no. That while it is nice, he needs an actual name.
So Amethyst
Maybe his name will.
shows.
Sorry, go on.
I was as you Amethyst shows you a minor illusion of an airship. What the airship looks like.
Yeah,
Looks like a boat, but it's got some weird looking sails on the sides of it.
I just
It's not
wanted to check that minor illusion wasn't conjuration.
not it's an illusion. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Show them the airship.
Yeah.
But, I think maybe he's got a name. It just might take him a while to, remember and stuff. If he doesn't remember where he came from and he doesn't remember his name, maybe it's just something that will come back to him.
Fine,
know.
but we can't walk around calling him no name all the time, could we?
Why?
I
Uh,
wouldn't want to be
why
called
not
no
just
name.
call him nameless?
We
Yeah,
wouldn't
nameless.
call you no name. We would call you like Big Lady or something. You know?
Wow. Wow.
Who do you like up there?
Well, as you head back out onto the under road, eventually reaching the place uh, where you can see the sky once again, you're able to then get yourself back up onto the surface and see what stretches out to the south of you. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take ourselves a little break. And
Mhm.
obviously, since we're recording, just pause the recording for a moment, and we'll be back in just a little bit. And we are back. So, you have found yourselves back on the surface there. It is a weirdly harsh sunlight as you come out there, as you've been underground now for well over 24 hours. Um, it's hard to say exactly how long you were there because time passing is a little difficult when you're underground. But you are up, and it's a bright, harsh sunlight above you here. No clouds, none whatsoever. Um, just this like harsh streak of kind of pale blue and just this bright sunlight all around you that's just kind of off. It just seems a little bit too bright, a little bit too intense. Ask you're having a bit more of a struggle than anyone else here as you kind of pull your hat down there, try to shade your eyes a little bit more here. But you can see to the south, you can like just it's a little bit. The ground ahead of you is a bit of clumps of grass and um, kind of some a little taller than others. And then off kind of to the south, you see what appear to be some trees. Um, Not like a forest, just sort of like a little like groupings of trees down to the south, and a little more to the southwest as you look in that direction. You can kind of see uh, um, as you look to the east, you will see sort of that bank of fog along the coastline across there. Even from a far distance there, you can kind of see just this indistinct, hazy fog over in that area. We'll put you right about here, kind of on the map. So kind of about where you climb back up onto the surface. Um, you don't see anything moving or any living things other than those trees off the way. Um, Nothing immediately shows itself as a threat or anything. So, what would you like to do?
Head
How are
south.
we
Maybe
traveling?
we head to the wherever those cultists were. Yeah, that would be a place to start. Maybe.
It's a pretty long ways between here and there. How do you want to? How are you planning to travel at this point? Obviously, some of you are on foot, some of you have flight, some of you may be able to carry others. So, what is the plan?
I could fit this into floating boat, and we could take a boat down the river, down through the water, over the rocks.
Is the water safe?
No,
I have no way of getting across.
What are you talking about? Okay, across what?
So we're going across the water. If
He,
not, then no.
he,
I have
Talking about
my
he's,
saddle.
he's
he
talking
just
about
said he
using
has
the
a
boat
boat.
to travel
Yeah,
south.
He has a boat to travel south.
that's what he just said. Yep.
a floating boat.
Folding
And,
boat.
and he pulls out a little box about 12 inches long, kind of holds it up there. It's vaguely in the shape of a boat, kind of curled up on either side there. Um, yeah,
What does it look like it's made out of?
wood.
Okay. Hmm.
It's a bit small.
All right. I'll get in the boat if you allow me to get in the boat, dear
Um,
sir.
He hasn't made it big yet. Just
you're,
he's just
you're literally
look.
about 25 miles from from the water.
We're just having a conversation about it at this point.
I don't know what we're doing. I'm
You're
tired.
standing in an open space there, a chasm behind you, bright sunlight ahead, and a whole continent to the south where like
We're
the
just
Sunday.
discussing at this point. We're just discussing how we're going to get to your lock, which is right the way down there. It's next to the ocean, so he was suggesting using the boat to get there. But I mean, I don't know, we've got ways of traveling on foot. We've got a spare saddle, I believe. I think I've still got one in my bag. So,
I've got one as well.
Yep.
well, you've got your Pegasus. I've got my carpet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got my little saddle as well.
Yeah.
Your
Well,
goat.
although we did point this out last time,
Oh no,
is
goats was Goats was Eldon's. Esk has the little Velociraptor little thing.
Yeah, he modified.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. He has a little code what like Mario Kodo looking Velociraptor little thing.
I will say, it was established last week, and I realized this year that S can actually move faster than a horse. So just his normal running speed is faster than a horse. So,
He
That's
although it is,
ridiculous.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, but
Okay.
exhaustion would be a thing, wouldn't it?
I mean, technically, monks can pretty much run.
Indefinitely.
Like his normal movement speed, not even his sprinting speed, his normal movement speed is faster than a horse's movement speed. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, going faster than that for any length of time there would be exhausting after a while. But yeah, it's just easier to kind of move all together in a group. So you have 3 mounted people and 2 flying people, if that's the plan. Um,
I will. I will hand no name. The Manatech saddle of summoning that he can add to his character sheet.
so they hand you a saddle. There's a
And I
Yeah.
will tell him,
Let me
although
look at
saying
it.
that, isn't the saddle, doesn't that use conjuration magic? It might work because it's Manatech, I don't know.
Hello, Amethyst. No magic in the city.
We're not in the city
Well, in the
anymore,
city.
we're out of the city
So
now.
why are you worried about the conjuration magic?
Because it's unstable.
But
Might summon a
it's a saddle.
dinosaur.
It's a horse. It comes from stable.
The only horses you've seen recently were kind of scary.
Slightly tasty.
Nightmares?
Mm,
Zombie.
mm, yeah,
Slightly tasty when you
yeah,
purify them.
yeah. Um, yeah, you've seen horses with fiery like things there, and you've seen horses that want shambled around and that were obviously partially dead. You've seen horses that were decked out in some crazy armor,
Cultist.
like spikes and blades on it and everything, and yeah. And maybe a couple wandering horses that were wild and moved around normally, looked fairly normal.
Very normal. With nomads chasing them yelling, lunch, lunch, lunch.
So, um, so you are you going to head toward the coast? Are you going to head across land? What's your plan here? What are you thinking?
I don't I think when you're on the land you can see around you what's coming, unless it's coming from underground. Whereas in the water, you're not necessarily going to see what's coming. And I think that I would be more worried about being on the water and the boat capsizing than.
Do we want to hug the coast then? Maybe do some in the water, some out of the water? Maybe?
Maybe.
You follow the coast. I mean, this can't get lost.
Hmm. Well, maybe we can.
I mean, you could try.
Don't suppose there's any roads or anything across there anywhere that have left after the capital.
You don't see any around here. No, not even remnants of roads along where you're at currently. Um, it's all just sort of overgrown wilderness, patchy grasslands, some trees off in the distance there, and then off to the far east you can see what probably is water in that fog over there. So, all right. So, who's the first to activate their their saddle?
I will.
Okay, Tina, put the thing down there. You put down the little feed you have for it there because that's how you summon the horses. And horse appears, seems totally normal. Nothing weird. Just there it is.
It looks normal. I get on it.
Yep.
Which way are we going? South?
Yep, we're gonna follow the coastline.
The idea. Are you
So-
with us?
Well, I don't know if we're going like east to the water to then go south, or if we're just going south.
Let's go southeast. We're going to follow
Okay.
the coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, no name, nameless. You basically put down, do what Athena does there, and the horse. This is to do the saddle just rises up as a horse appears underneath it. And it's definitely a slightly different looking horse than you've seen. This one's well, let's just say the horses you've seen here are either larger or shaggier or more gaunt. There's a lot of variety of the horses that you have seen here, the wild horses that are out there. But their hooves all look a little bit different. These actually seem to have just like these normal like rounded hooves, and even what appear to be probably like horseshoes on them, little metal shoes on the bottom of the horses there to help them grip and move along or whatever. But these ones, sorry, reverse that. The horses you've seen have normal looking hooves. These have slightly like splayed hooves, the ones that are conjured, as they're a little bit more like deer and elk hooves. You realize that the native horses to here look a little different than the horses you have over in Girvan. As these horses, this is where the horses came from. So yeah, they look a little strange. The feet look a little weird.
Oh.
And yeah, so coloration and size very similar. Um, there's a bit more of kind of a brown or brownish or tawny color to these horses. You've seen horses with like white. You've seen black horses. Some of those black horses were on fire. You've seen sort of like mottled, like spotted horses. But yeah, these are all sort of a uniform kind of grayish brown or tawny brown kind of coloration to them. Except for S, who basically some of them some sort of weird lizard and it's on it. So, mounting up, you start to head southeast, kind of picking your way down that way. Um, uh, Give me perception checks, everyone, just to kind of see what you spot on the initial part of the trip.
Seriously?
Cool.
You rolled better than I did.
Yep. Okay.
Good job. Amethyst is always watching out for us.
So Nameless kind of sits on the horse, sits on the side a little strangely, gets kind of flops from the side there. You see how they ride the like there. It's like one leg to either side there, little stirrups to put your feet into. After a moment, you kind of like you bounce around a little weird. You kind of shift and move into position there and find a little bit more comfortable way to sit than the way you climb on initially. Facing off the back of the horse. Okay, now you can't see where you're going, and so the horse is kind of following them, and you're going to bounce around a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
This is fun. I can see where we've been.
I will grab the reins of his horse and just help him pull.
Sure. So, following along there. So you're looking back the way you came, and Amethyst and Lucas flying up overhead.
Horse very smart. Horse know way to go.
If they know, I'll just giggle.
Amethyst, from your point of view, something you'll notice is as you kind of travel along there, you kind of watching the coast, watching the island over here, kind of looking back over, kind of all around as you kind of like this aerial point of view. Um, look back to the north, and you can kind of see just maybe briefly a little movement of something white on the horizon up in the mountains there. Thinking it might be one of those dragons you saw the other time there. But just very
Oh,
faintly off in the distance. Um, you'll see this kind of as you look down as you're looking down to the southwest, looking off to your right as you're flying. Um, some of those trees that you can see off in that direction shift, like they're moving. Like there's a copse of trees, and you kind of move along there, and they kind of like, wait a minute, those trees are farther apart than they were when last time. And then you kind of look back, and they're clumped up again,
Huh.
and then like so they're kind of shifting around a little bit, maybe. Um, some of them are pretty large. Like I said, it's definitely an odd thing you're noticing from a higher point of view. Other odd thing you'll notice with the natural 20 there is in the fog, in the shrouded fog over here, occasionally you will see something large move in it. Hard to tell scale, but it looks big. It moves through the fog.
Huh. Okay. I will point that out to people. Firstly, the trees seem like they're moving, maybe walking around. I'm not sure. And there's something big over there. So I think let's get a wiggle on.
Okay. Um, whatever's in the fog is just sort of like slowly moving, but it looks big. Hard to tell exactly what you're looking at there because again, it's a shrouded fog there. Um, and yeah, nothing like nothing comes toward you exactly, but you just kind of see these things off in the direction there. Um, by the time you're getting close to evening, you see the sun is starting to go down, and that blue sky suddenly turns kind of like a steel gray, and then it becomes sort of a darker gray. It's like there's no like real like sunset happening as far as you can tell. It just goes from blue to gray to dark gray to black, and you're suddenly nighttime. There's almost no like it's literally just blue to black, and it is night. Um, so you're within sight of the coast. You can see some like kind of like little uneven spaces along where the coastline is. Probably another couple hundred yards that way, but you can see where it is there. It's a very like rocky cliffside looking thing. You don't see a beach or anything else where you're at. It's very just kind of like you just kind of see like rocks and broken area there from a higher point of view. Lucas, before the sun went, it got dark, you can see it just sort of dropped off, and there was ocean beyond it. So kind of a rocky cliffside over that way. But you're able to find at least some place to um, some like a tumble of rocks you can kind of butt up against and find a place to camp.
Is there still we're still missing a moon?
Um, yeah, you don't see it. It's weird. You should be.
Okay.
I mean, you kind of like trying to piece together like where would it normally be when over there? It'd be right up over there, and it's just not there. Like it's like not even that it's like kind of not risen yet. There, it's just you don't see it.
That's really weird. I don't like
Um,
that. I don't like not
Okay.
seeing the moon.
yeah, which means it's also very dark. You'll also notice that even though the sky was no clouds and no, like it was just harsh blue sky um, above you there, the stars are very kind of muted. Like it's as if when it's like a hazy, very hazy or overcast. You normally get hard time seeing the stars above you there. You can catch a couple here and there, but they just sort of like not as bright as they should be. You're used to seeing things very bright, just a sky full of stars. It's all just kind of muted. There's a little bright star over here, a couple bright stars over there. It's also a little weird because things aren't quite in the right place for you, but you kind of figure out, okay, that's where that group of stars should be. That's where that group of stars should be, but I can't only see two of the stars I should be seeing over there instead of all five. That's weird.
I don't like it.
No, there must be a reason for it, though.
Put it back.
Yeah, it's a very clear night as far as you can tell. There's a bit of a and I mean to you there, no name, looks normal.
So is this like when we have the light flooding, like when you have the city lights on and it blocks the sunlight?
Yeah, light pollution there, it makes
Cities
it
have
harder to see the
lights?
stars. Yeah, it's a little like that, only there's no actual like lights. It's just the sky is not as vibrantly dark as it should be.
Okay.
Looks perfect. Perfectly fine. Perfect.
Yep, looks totally normal to you.
No.
Yes.
You
Our
see
sky
it. You definitely see them all over the sky. Yeah.
Normally it's like
Wait,
very
wait.
bright and both moons are showing and we can see them.
Wait. Planet. Sky. So one sky. Planet. This sky. You can't have different sky unless you're not from planet.
You have never seen the moons? There's two of them. They're big.
You've
They
seen
should be
one.
like right there.
You'll see that. You'll see. It takes a minute, but you can see Asheville, kind of the smaller purplish moon. That one you can see. It seems to be where it's supposed to be.
There's one
Big.
right next to it. Like
purple star?
Ion should be up there. Not.
I'm going to minor illusion and show No Name what the moon should look like, and show him like the the moon phases, how it changes and everything.
and there's no stars either, really. There's
Stars are there. It's just
You.
it's like again like light pollution from a city, how it obscures a lot of the stars are in the sky, or when there's a bit of a hazy overcast kind of thing. It's a little like that, but there's no actual clouds blocking the stars. They just seem to be a little more muted. They're not as bright and vibrant as they are that you're used to.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we need to rest and get some sleep. Yes? No?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay. All right. And you know, camping is something you've had to do off and on here and there. Any sort of rituals that you take that you do, or anything you do to keep safe?
I was just going to suggest to Lucas, maybe if you've got the fortress, maybe you could use that and we can camp inside it just as a little bit of an extra,
Yeah,
protection.
Sure.
got two of them, right?
No,
No, Grimbara did one.
Yeah, that's
Grimbar's
right.
not here anymore.
Mm-hmm. Sleeping inside on a night like this.
Pass this over for some dwarf lady.
I will take first watch.
Okay. So just to kind of paint the scene here, you kind of find a spot there out of the way there, and there's suddenly this like square, blocky metal tower suddenly like appears, just swells up from the ground, and there it is.
Do you have any issues getting the tower put up?
Doesn't seem to. It seems to work.
I really feel like somebody was bamboozling that city. All right. Are we going in? Can we go in?
Yeah, I mean, so you head inside there. Yeah, it seems to be, yeah, this metal blocky 20 foot tall. 20 foot tall is it? The 20 by 10.
30 foot tall, 20 feet on a
30 foot tall.
side, 30 foot high. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's 20 by 20 by 30. Okay, cool. All right, so this blocky looking tower appears there. You head on the side there. It is quiet and secure inside. You take your watches. Go ahead and let's see. There's 5 of you. Let's just see. Let's do this here. Okay. Who's on last watch?
Me.
Okay. So you all take your turns resting, trading off, taking your watches, kind of posting yourself up by one of the windows, sort of slowly walking to the other windows and kind of watching out of the terrain there. And nothing nothing seems off, although there's a weird stillness to the air. I mean, obviously, you're not gonna get here, but even just like at the window, there's no breeze, there's no sound, no sounds at all. Like there's no sound of birds or insects, there's no crickets or nothing like that. It's just dead quiet out there. And you also a little bit disconcerting, but not enough to cause any actual alarm. You don't see anything out there. You don't hear anything go by until Athena on your watch. Last one. You're sitting there and you just hear the scratching sound. Just scratch, scratch, scratch. And you look around and don't see anything. Scratch, 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 scratch.
Who was the person right before me? Whoever that was, I'm gonna go wake them up.
Okay. Who was one watch before Athena? It wasn't
I
us.
would have.
It's the first watch.
I was going to take the darkest watch because
Okay, so
I
you,
have 120-foot dark vision. So
Lucas Renone. Which one of you is going to be right before Athena?
I can be there.
Yep, Lucas, we got
Okay,
that.
Lucas. Okay, so it was Lucas.
I'll go wake up Lucas.
Yeah.
Do you hear the scratchy scratch? Did you hear it when you were?
Well, I would have said if I'd heard something. No, I didn't do anything.
Yeah. Do you hear scratchy scratches now? I hear scratchy scratches.
Yes, you definitely hear you sort of scrape, scratch, scratch, and it just sounds like, I mean, for lack of a better, it's a little like a nails on a chalkboard kind of situation. Just this raspy scratching sound that you're not really sure. Like it's you can't pinpoint it. It's like it's just sort of like you hear it.
We'll walk around the tower. Does it sound louder at any point?
After a moment, if you're kind of trying to pinpoint there, yes, at one point you definitely hear it. Sort of. I mean, you're trying to pinpoint because walking on the inside of the tower, they're trying to pinpoint where is there. It's kind of on the ocean side, but not on the ground.
Hmm.
You don't see anything through window because it's little like arrow slit type windows on this thing. There's no no grand windows or anything else. There is a way to get out on top of it.
Do we want to go outside though?
Or you can
Are
go
you
out.
waking? Are you waking the rest of us up?
Nope.
Not
you
yet.
just look over the top.
I'm just waking up Lucas because he was the one that was right before me. Also, it was his tower.
Okay. What do you two want to do?
I guess.
Climb the ladder to the trapdoor and cautiously just poke it up a little bit.
You poke up the top there. There is something. You can kind of see like something dark, kind of sitting on the top of the tower. Like you only see sort of the back side of it, as it's obviously got its head down over the side of the tower. And you hear this scratch, 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 scratch. Can't quite make out what it is because it is very dark outside at this point, and with your dark vision, you can kind of see what's there, but not the details. It's sort of this dark-looking shape.
Lucas, what is it?
Can't see it.
Okay, I'll give you a perception check to see if you figure it out.
Cast fireball.
Not on the tower. Oh my god.
The tower would be fine. Made of adamantium. I think it'll be okay.
I didn't ask how big
Like
the room
100
was.
hit points there or something.
Oh, there's some. Lucas, what you can make out from it, it's almost like it's like a bird or something. It's hard to say exactly. It seems to be like you can kind of see one clawed foot kind of grasping the top crenellation on the top of the tower there, and then it's got its head down over the side, and you can see sort of like a black wing or something kind of off the back. And a bit of the angle is really weird. You're having a hard time seeing what the thing was here. It looks like a giant size, like a crow.
Okay, that's weird.
And he said all you can see is sort of like the back essentially you can see its butt and like one thing and it leaning off the side of the tower there.
Just one crow. I'm reporting that for attempted murder.
Mm.
Get out.
Yeah, you're grounded. Actually, just straight up grounded from the whole unit.
I can't. That. I'm glad that wasn't my psychic damage. I have resistance.
The rest of us took
Yep.
psychic damage.
So, Lucas, what do you do?
It's not going to be doing any damage to the tower because it's.
It's definitely scratching at it, but it's. I mean, you don't think. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a.
gonna...
It. I mean, looking at the angle, you realizing the scale of this thing there, it's probably a good. It's the size of a horse, easily.
Of course.
Okay, y'all are about to be grounded. All of it.
Let's go attack it.
The bird?
Why?
Why not?
I think you should probably detect magic to make sure it's an actual bird. And not just a spy. But that's me and I'm asleep, so.
Nope.
I don't know. What do we do? Do I attack it?
He didn't want.
Yeah.
He didn't want to
Yeah.
attack it. Of course, he didn't want to attack it.
Let's go beat it up. Let's go. Athena likes attacking things, so you're
Yeah.
aware. So
Notice.
she's gonna tell you to go beat it up.
Go on then. We'll open the trapdoor and climb out.
I go.
So Athena goes rushing over to it. Go ahead and give me an attack roll.
Heck yeah. Actions. She hasn't
Try
learned her
and
lesson
talk
yet.
to it. Try and see what
Yeah.
it's doing.
Right?
Mm-mm.
Detect magic. See if
I don't
it's.
have that.
Lucas does.
You hit it. And
Mhm.
it rears up. It's a screech.
Uh-huh.
You all get woken up by this screech that is absolutely just like blood curdlingly loud. And when it turns back to you, you see as it kind of pulls its wings back there's two sets of wings. Not just one, like two sets of wings kind of flap out there. The claw sort of it sort of shifts there, and it had been leaning over the side there, clawing. It turns around and kind of swipes the claw back toward you. You kind of duck out of the way all of a sudden. As what you see also is the fact that its beak is bright bone white, with just serrated edges all along both the top and bottom of the beak there. And there are two sets of glowing green eyes that where the bird's eyes would be there. And it just screeches at you just super loud. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
I will scream demon. It is a demon.
Both of us or just Athena?
No, it's screaming right in her face.
Okay.
Wisdom saving throw, not an intelligence save.
Oh, wisdom. I thought you said intelligence. I don't know why I said. That's
Okay.
even better.
Same thing. Okay. You kind of like recoil a bit from it, just sort of this, the volume of it, and just this thing in your face there. Um, it just sort of like it doesn't cause any problem to you exactly. Um, uh, Lucas, you seeing this, what do you decide to do? As you see something that looks very, very unnatural to you.
Yeah,
I'm screaming. I'm screaming demon.
I'll
I don't
cast,
know what it is.
Yep. So you all woken up by a screech and then the screaming demon, demon.
I'll cast at it.
Okay.
I would head towards the sound of the words demon.
Okay. You definitely hit. So you hit, and sort of this glowing spot appears on the sort of chest below one of the kind of below the lower set of the second set of wings. It screeches and kind of looking, glaring at you. Athena, go ahead and take your second swing at it.
I had already further
Oh,
up. It
we
was
didn't.
a 21 to hit with
Oh, there it was.
12
I
more.
see it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So total 26 and 10, so 50. You can see as you blast into it there, Lucas. The glowing radiant spot. Essentially, you can see what appears. It's almost like looking at an X-ray where it hits, where it's illuminated, and you can see ribs and everything else underneath the flesh where it hit. That also sort of glow greenish color. You know, the bright radiance of the bolt there, and sort of a green X-ray look to it there. It launches itself into the sky, sort of like wings, all like the lower set flapping, the top set sort of pulling forward, as it sort of like launches itself over the side and away. Um, uh, it's basically, it seems to be in full flight mode as it was to take off. Um, Athena, as those of you rousing below were woken up out of pretty much dead sleep, you are sort of coming to. You hear the flap of wings and the screech and everything else happening above.
Oh,
Um,
dude, I like
as you,
activate haste
I
and
mean, like you're asleep, you're dead asleep there. So it's like, yeah, like you go to grab your stuff there and start putting it on and get ready to go, and it's like, um, at the time you go to start kicking the gear there, you can hear the wings flapping, um, and so any two you want to do, we're gonna let it fly off as it is
I'll let
like
it fly
taking
off.
to the air. Okay.
Hold on. Do I have that attuned? I do not. Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Because I
Um.
have the Spellbreaker Javelin, but
Oh.
it's not attuned.
I thought you were going to summon the rock.
No, I've been yelled at enough.
I. So So it will just, if you go think about it, it will just take off and fly away. It flies sort of like out toward the coast, toward the ocean, and then banks away around to the south and starts flying back inland. And you quickly lose sight of it as it is a black, as the glowing, the guiding bolt eventually will eventually fade as it flies off. You kind of track it as it's banking around and going back to the west. Um, as the glow fades away, um, it just kind of flies off that direction.
What's over that way?
The
Do we
trees.
know what's over? Mm. The trees are over that way.
The
Yeah.
walking trees.
Hmm.
The trees that have been walking around.
No, you didn't see them walking. You just saw them shift positions.
Yeah. Weird trees moving around. Like what?
Um,
When did you get here?
Probably up there. You kind of scramble up, like those of you that they were getting there, you kinda move up on the roof there, and kind of looking at, watching where they are looking. And you might see a dark shape sort of heading off again. No, not much light in the sky, and um, not much actual like stars to see by or anything else. That, but you can just get a black smudge off in the direction they're looking, heading off that way.
Hmm.
I flew up when I heard the screech.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I said, as it was flying, so you kind of saw it fly away.
Uh-huh.
Are we under attack? What happened?
It's just a big bird.
Bird.
A
That was
big
not a
bird?
bird. That was a demon.
Did you check if it was like spying on us for somebody?
No.
No,
I don't
I
need
I
I need a
just
picture.
beat it up because it was scratching at our
Need a picture.
castle.
No.
One at a time, boys and girls.
Um, uh, no name. You've seen things like this in your travels. Maybe not exactly what they're describing here, but the big um, uh, night. I mean, the night flyers. Basically, they're sort of a terms. The birds that come out at night. They're usually large. They're usually um, scary. uh, you don't really get a good look at them usually because they're flying up there and you stay down on the ground away from them. So yeah, as far as you know, not demons, but you never really came in close contact with one before. So
That is my best guess as a demon. It had a white beak and a bunch of sharp teeth.
2 sets of wings.
2 sets of
You
eyes.
saw wings?
Yeah, 2 sets of eyes, yeah. Definitely not natural.
Okay.
So back to bed, I guess. Not that Athena's going to be able to sleep after that.
Well, you're finishing up your watch anyway.
Uh-huh. I slept beforehand. Thank goodness.
Well, now that we're all wide awake, I'll start making breakfast.
I'm getting back to sleep.
This goes and curls up again, is almost out almost immediately, as cats are wont to do.
I'll just curl up on the carpet and just like float back down and then cat nap.
Start digging in the dirt. They're looking for bugs and worms.
That's to be outside. Okay, so you go outside there and kind of dig around. You know that this is a good time to do it because before the sun comes up again, you can kind of find things that are sort of in their sleepiest times and a little more sluggish than normal. So you're basically able to
Slugs.
worms and bugs that are haven't quite browsed for the day yet.
You and Ask, I swear.
Yep.
Bugs.
That's a protein. I don't know why you don't want it. There's lots of nourishment. We've been eating bugs, us kobolds, for generations upon generations. It's a good thing to do.
You know what else is a... What?
You can say, does it stunt your growth?
I have proof. Thing 1 and thing 2.
I would have you know I am the tallest kobold I have ever heard of. Just throwing that out there. Yeah.
Now you are. um, well, in that case, as you kind of do your early morning pre-dawn prep, kind of gathering some food, prepping some food, getting your last little bit of sleep in, whatever it is. Uh, dawn is very similar to sunset. The sun is just suddenly rising. And again, it goes from the dark, like black night, to gray to harsh blue. And just again,
Incredible.
just the kind of sheer like brightness. It's kind of within minutes. The sunrise only takes about 2 or 3 minutes top, and it's just full brightness above you.
Who turned on the lights?
Hmm. Hmm. Who turns on the lights?
Nope. Those of you in the tower are okay. Obviously, but you do see light streaming into the windows. Um, but you're
So,
able to, yeah.
nameless. This is the thing that has always happened. Yeah, it's normally it takes longer for the sun to rise and night to fall. Is it always just kind of like boom, there it is?
Every day, same day.
Except on days when there is no sun.
That's just longer nighttime for very long nighttime.
More like when the sky is overcast. It is just fully overcast, and you can't see the sun at all.
No
Like,
sky, no stars.
and it really isn't there isn't a medium. There's no, like, you don't get like happy clouds in the sky here. It's either gray sky, completely overcast, or harsh blue. There's nothing in between.
Nightmare lunch.
Um,
Always like you're in a dream.
uh, yeah, if anyone describes a cloud to you, we've never seen a cloud before.
Hmm.
So the Nights of Overcast, have you how about for like rain, snow in the mountains?
Rain
Those
and
those types of
snow.
Rain,
things?
participate. Yes.
Yeah.
Very good with the participation.
Okay. Just it's this this is not normal. It's there's lots of other places that this is very different.
Well,
If
as
if
you
if if you say so. Yeah.
uh,
Mm.
so once you kind of take down the tower, or recollect your tower, and move along there, you will see you're kind of right about here on the coastline. You're kind of this little spot right here. And as the daylight comes there, you can see you're closest ever to the island over there. And again, you can't see through the fog. You can barely make out the coastline. And this close now, you can sort of make out just the faintest outlines of trees of a forest of some kind. And as you pause and look, that sure enough, something moves that's larger than the trees. Kind of good, slow, ponderous movement there. Something humanoid, but taller than the tree line that you can barely make out in the fog.
Like a giant.
Like a giant. Yep.
Great, that's all we need. An undead giant.
We don't know it's undead.
No, we don't.
Could be a vampire.
Vampires are undead.
Yeah, true.
Are you okay? Imagine a vampire giant. Oh my god.
So maybe we stealth, yeah, like you were saying, we do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then hide.
Hide.
Oh, five. Five ends in hide. Yeah, maybe.
Granted, it is across the strait here. It's like it's not. You can't like you're not in danger of anything over here. Suddenly over here, like this is, you can just make that out across the way there.
No, in few more hours when we go to the human lands. Then
So you can see the coastline down below there. You can see kind of the dark grayish water, dark grayish blue water there. It is just smashing against the tide. Or the waves coming in are very rough, just like slamming against the hillside, the cliff sides over here. Um, as this is the Razor Wave Ocean, it's definitely like that on the other side of the ocean too. It's very cold, very dark and gray. Um, Here it seems to be a little more forceful. Like you can almost feel the impact of each wave crashing against the cliffside.
It's the Atlantic.
Kind of, yeah. Yep. Well, North Atlantic, not South Atlantic. It's more the Pacific, which is cold and very rough in a lot of places. But you start moving along, gathering yourself up there and moving along the shoreline or the coastline here. Keeping an
Oh.
eye out for anything.
So Lucas will inspire everyone before we start moving off. 10 minutes. So 22
for the first-
temporary hit points.
So as you kind of gather your things and eating your meals, Nameless, for the first time, you hear inspiring words from someone. You've never had words of encouragement like this before. As you kind of feel it invigorating you, and you get 22 temporary hit points.
So sad.
I know, right?
Oh.
It really is.
So, anything else you plan to do as you travel here, or just kind of keep moving along the coastline?
Just keep moving. Do we want to use the rock? Like, we got it for long distance travel, and we're literally long distance traveling, aren't we? So, I don't know. But what do you guys think? And if you're talking to us, you're muted.
Still can't hear you.
Nope.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So what I was saying was sassy, and you don't want to hear it anyways. So, yeah, I have the rock still attuned, so we could do that.
I always want to hear the sassy.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I do.
Not this one.
I do.
Mm-mm.
Be sassy. Love it.
Nameless, you don't know what a rock is, other than a rock on the ground. So what they're
Okay.
talking about makes no sense to you.
So,
Do we
okay,
want
so
to
here's
do
the
we
thing.
want to risk being spotted by dragons and stuff, and like travel quickly and
Yes.
a
So
bit more
I will
safely, or do we want to?
pull out the coin and
Well,
show him the
let's
coin. Is it a coin or is it a statue?
The statue, a rock.
statue.
A statue. So I'll pull
Okay,
out the statue and I'll show it to him.
this is a magical object that lets her summon a giant bird that we can all fit on and ride.
The bird she let go last night.
Nope.
No, it's bigger
Completely
than
different
that.
bird.
It's big enough to carry all of us. Probably you and Esk in its claws, and then the rest of us on its back.
You mean like in the air?
Yeah, like flying. Yeah.
He will wrap himself in a towel and say, "I'm ready."
A towel?
Mhm.
One must always have a towel and be prepared.
It rains. Yep.
Oh.
Makes sense.
Okay.
I do
I
appreciate
will-
somebody who knows where his towel is.
I will summon the rock.
Okay. And you will see a bird that's 100 feet, basically 100-foot wingspan. So it's basically about 20, 30 feet tall, bigger than the tower, actually. About the same size as the tower you just saw. Whoa, Jesus. What are
Sorry,
we doing
that's
here?
all the text for the bird. My bad.
Yeah.
I just wanted to read it.
Yeah.
So
Roll
we're
20, come on.
conjuring this creature.
Hmm?
Does anything happen when we conjure the creature?
Nope. So what you will see is it will come through. And again, this is a dark. It isn't more like a brown hawk kind of like that, but mostly dark dark feathers and everything else. Not fully black, but like dark brown. Most of the coloring. It appears there and kind of shakes there. Again, about 20 feet tall. Um, uh, it appears normal as it comes out. Kind of looks down at you, Athena, and kind of pauses, lowers its head down there, and extends a wing there if we want to climb up onto its back. So we'll sort of wait for a moment.
I'll start climbing up.
Climb up onto its back. Who else is going up on the back?
Me.
I will.
Okay.
You're small enough to be carried in its talon.
It doesn't matter.
All
it
of
can
you
carry
are.
all
All of us could fit in one talon.
It could
This
but
carry
thing
I don't.
carries
it
away
could carry
elephants.
2 in each. It could essentially this thing could easily carry 6 people. Um, I mean, actually, it could technically carry 8, 4 on its back, 2 in each talon.
We can't all fit on its back, though, can we?
No, you
Yes.
cannot. You
I
can't.
thought we could.
It'll fit 4 on its back. Is what I said. And there's 6 of you. There's 5 of you. Sorry. So yeah.
And what is its flying speed?
Let me pull it up here real quick. Here, it's fast. I know that much. Come on, where are the monsters?
It's 120, isn't it?
120, I think. Yeah.
Is it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 120. So of course it can move and dash. So basically, it's a 240 feet around. So.
Yep. Wow.
And so who's up on the back?
Athena, because she
Yeah.
can't fly. I think X should be up there. And
No one can fly as fast as the rock. That's
yep, I know, but they can fly. That's the point.
What does that mean?
You can fly.
Well, we're all
Who-
going on the rock, though.
Yeah.
All right. So who wants to be in the talons?
You mean like claws?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
claw.
I volunteer for claw.
okay.
The claw.
Okay.
I'll
so
go in the
who-
other one then.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Claw.
alrighty. So Lucas, Esk, and Athena climb up on the back there, and then it's sort of like kind of sits up there and like grasps kind of the two of you very strangely. It more like it kind of puts its claws down and kind of scoops it underneath you, and then the wings and it flies up there, and you're suddenly lifted off the ground there, kind of having to wrap yourself around the talons as they're curled underneath you. You kind of find yourself sitting in kind of in the claw right here. Yeah, that's just holding you. So Nameless, there you get a voice in your head. Are you okay with telepathic speech? Sounds like Amethyst.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say telepathically, like this.
I will move the other voices to one side, and I will speak with Amethyst. Well, hello there. Will you take me bowling?
It would the
Um,
bowling.
No. I don't know what bowling is, but I'll take you fighting monsters, if you like.
Yes, what is bowling?
This claw is very, very snug. And I will
I mean-
sharpen the beaks, the claws of the bird.
Okay, so you reach down, sort of like pull out a little, like, yep.
The
Mhm.
talons are the beaks of the feet. That is.
Mm-hmm.
I will get those cuticles nice and clean.
All right.
Oh,
So
it is gleamingly clean as it is a summoned creature and does not have
I was going to say,
Yeah.
it's not even been on the ground, so it's not going to be dirty yet.
So you direct it south.
yes.
It takes off and flies, and just the wind rushing past you. You're basically going to make pretty much double time. So how this works is roughly it's from this point to this point is 1 day's travel. However, with the rock, it'll be from this point to this point will be 1 day's travel. So you find yourself sort of right around here when it is starting to get. You see the sun. You do see the sun. It is up there. The sun is in the sky, but it's definitely getting low on the horizon. And as you realize, and how quickly night falls, you probably, unless you want to be flying at night, you may want to. I mean, you could be flying at night. It's up to you. What is the plan?
The Rock have any? I'm gonna ask him. Do you have any issues flying through the night, Mister the Rockbird?
It's not actually able to speech.
It's
No.
communicate with my language.
Where is it at there? Does it say that?
Hold on, let me find it. It says telepathically.
Understands and obeys your commands. There's no issue commands. It doesn't actually speak.
Yeah, the rock can telepathically communicate with you in range. And it's just-
Where is it at?
I saw it.
The rock can telepathically communicate with you at any
any
range
range.
if you are in the same plane of existence.
There it is. Yes. Okay. It's not high intelligence, so it will say can't see.
Awesome. That's all I needed. All right, I'm gonna tell the party we do need to sit down. The bird can't see.
I mean, it essentially it's got it doesn't have dark vision, so it
Mhm.
it can't see at night. So
Mm.
I mean, it could fly, but it wouldn't be able to see where it's going exactly.
And I wouldn't want it to fly at night if it can't see because no sun, no moon.
Okay.
Oh.
And muted stars. All right,
Mhm.
so basically, since it would fly from here to here, it'll land kind of off right around here. So we'll kind of put a little dot there. So actually, we'll go ahead and do our little dotted yellow line. As you came from here out to here, and then on the rock out to roughly there as your first. So you do know that the rock for each day it's out, it will take 2 days to recharge. You can keep it out overnight. It's up to you. But it just means it'll take longer to recharge for everything essentially. And it basically it goes in increments of a day. So you summon it even for 10 minutes, it still counts as a full day to recharge. It'll take 2 days to recharge. However, as I mentioned before, you can spend spell slots and/or hit dice, or you can spend hit dice to make it recharge faster down to a minimum of 1 day.
You guys thinking we could wake up tomorrow morning? I'll spend some hit die to be able to bring out the bird, and we'll fly immediately down to the city tomorrow morning.
It'll
It
take a
make
day.
more
Like,
sense. Go
I
on.
mean, it's from here to from here is a day's travel. Like it can fly. It can fly. Yeah, yeah. You're one,
So we're
2,
4 days.
3, 4 days by
4
rock.
days. Okay.
Yeah. 8 days by foot, roughly.
Right,
Can't you
right.
can't you
Remember?
put hit dice in it like put the rock away when we land? Can you put hit dice in it before
It
you
takes a
sleep?
minimum of 1 day to recharge. So
Yeah.
for every day it's out, it takes a minimum of 1 day. Normally, it takes for every day it's out, it takes 2 days.
Okay.
You can then like lessen that time down to 1 day, but it's minimum of 1 day to recharge. So
Uh-huh.
basically, you can bring out every other day. Is how it would work.
Right. So we'll have
Uh-huh.
to go by foot when we wake up, and then the next day I'm going to put hit dice into it to bring him back.
Since when do we ever go by foot?
Well,
I don't
well,
know about you, but
by
I
foot.
like my feet touching the earth.
You're on a horse
Uh,
though.
Lucas, let me ask you
Yes.
this: when
Well,
you're
by
flying,
choice.
did you dismiss
Yeah.
the Pegasus?
I would have had to, yeah, because can't fly
Okay,
as
yeah,
fast as the rock. Yeah.
can't keep up. Yeah, okay. Just double check that. Okay. All right. Well, in that case,
Sleeping again? Are we in the stars this time, or are we, well, lack thereof stars, or are we building another tower?
Oh, put the tower out again.
yeah, the tower's automatic. Are you dismissing the rock then?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay,
I had to
so
think. Sorry.
no worries. So the tower goes up, the rock goes away. It is shortly after the rock lands. You basically will see again, sun's going low, and it's just like as it's going down over the horizon. There, it's just again from blue to gray to black. Done. Um, it doesn't appear that the sun moves any faster or anything else. It's just that there's no real gradation to the light changing. It's almost that the sky is not quite right. Um, so there's that. You can see kind of in the fading light, though, and in the last bits of light as you kind of put the tower up, there are you can see some trees. You're kind of on the edge of the trees over here, and see them off in that direction. And then it is
Are the,
nighttime.
are the trees moving?
It is now dark, so you cannot see the trees.
I don't have dark vision anyway, so.
Wouldn't matter if you start vision is 60 to 120 feet. They're a couple miles away at least.
Okay.
Like you're not landing among the trees. They're still inland a ways, but you can see them.
All right.
Can I like
Yeah.
meditate or just think? Is there like a god that normally like oversees this kind of stuff and is just dead in this area?
Um.
What really is causing this? Like the
That's,
more Esk
I
is like
mean,
meditating on this is just so strange and so uncomfortable.
um. Well, what sort of skill do you want to use for that? Would be what do you want to think? Thinking religion? You thinking what? I mean, I'm not sure what kind of skill you want to go basis on.
Yeah, I mean, no,
I mean,
not really.
bringing in the idea of a god, that's something you would
Yeah, it would
normally.
be religion. Religion's the only one that kind of like goes with that.
Yeah,
I don't really know much. Esk has never really studied religion, but
yeah.
I
I
gotta
mean,
give it a
it's
shot.
obviously not a natural phenomenon. You're not really even with 17. I mean, you know enough that this is not normal. You don't know if it's an environmental thing, if it's some sort of cosmological thing, if it's something like if what would be causing something like this. Um, However, you do know enough of the way the world works in that, well, the tides are still happening and the waves are still going. So, like, there's obviously the moons still have to be there. You just can't see it for some reason. Um, and in talking with Nameless, he's never seen a moon like you describe. The bright moon, the the small purple moon, that one you can see, but the bright moon he's never seen before.
never seen the bright moon. That's so sad.
Is the moon associated with a god or
Yeah,
not?
Ayun. It's named Ayun
Yeah,
for the
literally.
goddess of knowledge. Yep.
Yep.
Hmm.
Um,
That would explain why they don't have a lot of knowledge
That's
on
why
spells.
Esk was trying to think about that because it's
yeah. I mean, you would know enough with a 17. You would know enough that Ayun is the goddess of knowledge, and the moon is supposedly named after her. It is the shining light in the night, just like knowledge can be. Um, though,
I've been around
right,
temples, didn't pay much attention.
sure, yeah. I mean, enough meditation to know that it ain't normal. And yes, the moon was named after a goddess. Maybe the goddess was named after a moon. You never sure about that. So, okay, let me just roll here. See. Okay, same watch schedule as before.
Yeah.
Sure. If it
Yeah.
ain't broke, don't fix it.
So first was Esk, then it would be Nameless, then Amethyst, in the darkest part of the night, and then Lucas and Athena. So Nameless. Okay. So you are awakened, or while you're on watch, you look over these people. So strange, so different. These odd people, and what's kind of going through your mind as you look at them?
Hmm.
Nameless.
Sorry.
Okay. So Amethyst gave you a coin. I missed that. What coin did you give him?
Give me a
Fine.
vine.
Oh, okay. Um. Well.
Overlooking the people. You were saying overlooking the people, but then I
Yeah. So
don't
you're
know if
holding
I
the
remember
coin
these
there.
people.
Yeah. I mean, you travel with them now. You've been with them for technically 2 days. Um. Holding this coin in your hand, it feels strange. There's definitely magic in this coin. You don't know, like it's not something you're familiar with. It's not something you normally have handled or dealt with. Um, Feels a little odd to you. Um, do you want to try to activate the coin or do anything with it, or you're just going to hold on to it?
I'm still just holding on to it, trying to remember what a
Okay.
coin is.
Yeah, you never use a coin ever. Like there's no coin in there. It's a little metal disc. So like you know what a
Yeah.
coin is, but Nameless
She
doesn't
said,
know.
"Catch the coin," and I caught the coin.
Yeah, it's like a little like piece of metal with a picture of a man's face on one side and a tower on the other. Kind of a square looking. It's shaped very similar to the tower you're in right now, but obviously not the same design. Kind of a square looking tower and a face with a profile with a man with a beard. Never seen that person's face before. So,
You don't
um,
want to.
as you're holding the coin and mumbling coin, and looking at the coin there, you will feel like you kind of feel something strange as um you look down and like a couple of vines, like plant like things, are kind of moving around your foot. Like so there's little, kind of like little
Yeah,
tendrils
I
of
noticed when
green.
she
Yeah,
gave me the coin, it had done something with vine on my hand originally, and it was just
yeah. And then when it went away, but you can kind of feel as you're holding, you kind of feel it, and it sort of wraps around your foot and like tightens a little bit, tugs,
it's a fun
and
coin.
then yeah. Um, but yes, until you attune to it, you won't be able to do much more with it. But effectively, let's just go ahead and pull it out here. Since you have that coin, I will put that on your sheet.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, what does fine do?
Already on it.
I didn't see it. I still don't see it.
See what?
Um, was on there.
I
I'm
don't see
tuned
it.
to it.
I don't see it tuned either. Oh, I also need to give you
Oh, it's in
one
there.
moment.
It's in my all
One
under
moment.
equipment.
One moment, please, while I add something for you that you'll probably need. Where's that here?
Yeah, vine's cool. That's a cool coin. That's got some fun stuff in it.
Okay, there you go. That will be something helpful for you. And
I figured since I had the one from the hag, I'd be kind and share one.
going on here? Oh, okay. I see now. I was looking at an older version of your sheet. That's why. I refreshed. I see it. Okay. So yes, you can see what it does. You have the spells Thorn Whip and
Yeah.
Druidcraft, and can cast Entangle once per day.
Getting more and more nervous as we get closer to this town, so I'm fixating on stuff.
Yeah. And so yeah, again, between Druidcraft, you're sort of like essentially as you're kind of like sitting there, like focusing there. There's like you kind of like see like moss growing along your pants, like just sort of like Cody, like, look down, like and then these little white flowers pop up from it. um, uh, give me a wisdom, uh, the wisdom check. Not saving throw, just a check. Okay. You catch what you're doing there. You kind of realize that, oh, this must be me. And focus for a moment there, and just sort of like they sort of like retreat and dissipate and just kind of flake away into nothingness as you kind of control it a bit more. Realizing that yes, you can make little flowers and little plants grow, and then summon up a vine you can use to throw around or wrap around people. So
Good.
you have that. As you're doing that, however, you hear a kind of low rhythmic rumble, and it's just sort of like I mean, it's still distant. It's not like it's not close, but there's just something kind of a low rumble
Do
that's
I feel
happening. This
it's
some
coming this way?
um No, it's just sort of moving, like off, like it's not getting louder. It's just sort of like you can just hear it off in the distance somewhere.
I keep my eyes on that area and I start covering everybody under brush or whatever I can find.
Well, you're inside a tower, so
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 if I can find blankets or chairs or
yeah,
shields or
yeah. Um,
tumbleweeds.
you sort of start summoning up little bits of plants, and so um, uh, I guess everyone give me a perception check while you're sleeping, just to see.
The rest of us?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm fast asleep.
Yep. Yep. There
I
you go. Yeah.
don't know a thing.
You're fine. Yep. Exactly. Perfect.
I am
Um.
snoring my head off.
Yes. So I would say ask. You're the only one who starts to notice there. You sort of like feel this kind of like this sensation of something moving like around you, on you.
I instantly wake up.
Sure. You
Like,
see sort of like this like these little like plants and stuff sort of like moving. You're kind of partially up over you're lying on this side here, or kind of like partially up over your back and your arm, almost like a blanket. It's like and it's slowly growing a little bit more.
yeah, instantly. Everyone, it is something's happening.
I'm gonna make him out this. I'll
Hide,
try.
hide, hide. There's rumbling in the distance. Hide, hide.
I I I I think it's our new friends just I don't know, having some fun.
Yes,
Maybe.
Esquace you all up there. Athena, you rolled a 2, so you're just gonna be like, whatever.
Go back to sleep. Yep, I'm back to sleep.
I had two
Seeing-
coins and I
seeing-
gave him the coin of the vines, so maybe he's just having some fun with it. Getting used to it.
Okay, I take a second and I'll look back over at Nameless.
Hide, hide. Shh, shh.
And you
Noise
hear
in the distance. Noise in the distance. Shh, shh. Hide.
I will.
it's not
bend
getting
down.
closer.
Okay.
Just something is moving.
Sneakily go to the window.
Sneakily.
You look out there. You don't. It's just dark. Give me a perception check. See if you can spot anything out there in the darkness. I mean, maybe it's there's no moon, there's no bright moonlight, there's no good starlight. It's just dark out there. There's you can see sort of barely make out outlines of the trees in the distance, but you don't really see much of anything specific. It's definitely coming from that direction, though. You kind of like look over it, go toward the tower that's facing the ocean. You don't hear it there. You go, it's definitely like louder out the windows facing the trees.
I will go over and next to him and start to peek my head over the windowsill. See? Hide, hide.
So it's like you kind of up at the bottom of the window. He's kind of looking out the side of the window above your head there, kind of looking out there. Again, you can't really make out anything moving out there, but you definitely hear something out there in the trees. No sound of animals, no like flaps of wings or anything else. Just a very rhythmic, low thud, thud, thud. Just sort of like out there somewhere.
Footsteps,
Uh,
maybe.
Yep. Let's just stay here in the tower. We don't go looking for trouble. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, and so eventually, Athena never wakes up. Lucas and Amethyst, you guys settle back down to sleep. Okay, you're out.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Escuro, uh, you and Nameless as Nameless, not it was during his watch that happened, and then your next watch anyway. So you kind of like your watches sort of blend together a little bit, and you're able to um, eventually get back down to sleep as eventually the thudding fades away. and it is quiet again, other than Athena snoring.
See,
Mhm.
the fact that that goes quiet in the morning says to me that it's something like just nighttime. So maybe the vampire thing is right, or maybe it's some kind of crazy, I don't know, nighttime undead creature or something. But if it's that big, it's a vampire. I don't want anything to do with it.
Well, it's coming from the forest, not from the island.
Whatever it is, if it's just out at night time, that makes me a bit worried.
Well, um,
Just
okay. So as
giants
you
aren't usually nocturnal, are they? Well, we've met a few.
sure,
Athena will know.
the Athena knows plans. What?
Athena knows nothing.
Giants.
Oh,
Oh,
giant. Yeah.
giants.
You met some giants. Yes, you did something about plants. I was like, what?
No, I thought they were giant. I thought it was a giant out there, big footsteps, but maybe it
Oh,
is just like trees and stuff moving around. Because we did notice the trees were moving. That's even more worrying.
yep. So the rest of your night will pass. You wake up in the morning, and um, looking off in that direction, those of you with survival, they're trained in survival. Um, yeah, the tree line looks different. Like it has definitely shifted a little bit further away from you. In fact, you could have sworn the trees were closer than that last yesterday when you landed.
So, Nimless, what is going on with the forest? Yeah. Uh,
Probably never been in this part of the
Never been
forest.
near forest. Forest. Never been near forest. It's too far from hills. If was not for bird that fly us here, then, it take too long to walk out in the open. Lucky you have rock.
Not today.
Today we walk.
Yeah. Today we go on the horses. Or the carpet.
Well, between
Saddle up and yippee-ki-yay.
well, you go ahead and um, as you kind of like now survey the area ahead of you, you can see that as you move, as looking toward the south. Obviously, the coastline is still here, still mostly rocky. Still, there's a couple spots where you see kind of like maybe there's a way down to the ocean, like a crack or kind of a winding little space down to where there's a beach area. You can kind of see kind of right about a little ways ahead of you. You can see that there's a little bit of sandy area. You could go down to the water there, um, and a little crack in the little uh, crack in the cliff face that takes you down that direction. Um, so you could get down to the water if you wanted to. The other option is available to you. Yes, the tree line seems to have shifted further away from you. And below here to the south, well, you were in sort of a scrubby grasslands and there were some shrubs and you saw you did see some signs of animal life. Obviously you saw a big bird at nighttime there. Um, and the trees were ahead of you. To the direct south of you, it just turns into just dead looking scrubland. Um, you don't see trees. You don't see any, it's not green. It's kind of a grayish brown everywhere. The few plants you can see in that direction are just sort of little like spiky, dead looking, just a little bit of green, tiny leaves on them, if that. Um, but that's what you kind of see ahead of you. It's not really a pleasant looking sight, um, as it is what is what Nameless refers to as the wastelands. But you're able to gather your stuff, get your morning a meal out of the way, and continue on. Any precautions or things you want to do throughout the daytime?
Mm, we're on
head
our
on
horses.
swivel.
Set. I have two people to do.
Head on swivel,
Okay.
and definitely, because we're on horses, right? Today's horse day.
Yep.
Hmm.
I'll
Moving quietly, as quietly as we can, stealthily, if we can do it. Would definitely really be best, probably.
If we go
Okay.
stealthily, I'm afraid that like it's gonna take even longer.
Yeah. Moving stealthily takes half speed. Takes you at half speed.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you're also moving stealthily on horses through scrubland. There's not really much in the way of cover.
have to summon my Pegasus then.
Okay.
Does that work alright?
Give me an Arcana check. Okay. Yep. Again, magic sort of like squirrels and squirms a bit under your idea there, but you kind of like you've summoned your Pegasus enough times, you kind of know it. And while it takes a little bit, it seems to be a little more of a struggle to bring it forth. It's not difficult. I mean, it just comes into view, and it moves in front of you there, kind of tosses its head, looks around, kind of looks displeased as much as a horse-based person can look displeased, but sort of kind of like brushes its hoof in the dirt there. Um, and when it does that, it's sort of um, you can see sort of like like a little cloud of dust come up from where it paws the ground. So,
Lucas, what is wrong with your horse?
My Pegasus, you mean?
Potato,
wings. Horses don't.
tomato. What's wrong with it? It's got attitude.
So few.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I do have an attitude. I got woken up last night and then had to try and go back to sleep.
Probably doesn't like being summoned over here. It's a bit of a
Oh,
creepy place.
well, so Amethyst and Lucas stick to the skies. The rest of you have your horses, moving along. Um, as we continue on down.
I'll obviously inspire everyone again before we set off.
Okay, you'll get your points. Are you going to see it along the coastline? Or are you going to go a little bit toward inland? How do you want to do this?
I thought we were going to head to the beach and then take the boat.
The beach?
When did I heard nobody. I mentioned the beach was there, but nobody else said they wanted to go there. So that's
I
new
thought-
to
We,
me.
I
we,
thought
we
when-
thought we were just following down the coastline. If anybody wants to go in the boat, no one's stopping them, but
Just follow the coastline. It's probably best.
Alright. We'll do whatever's.
Okay. So roughly you'll get to about. So as you move along the coastline there, couple of things. Actually, give me a round of perception checks. See who spots what, because we'll kind of see high and low, high, low, in between. Persuasion, Dina.
Oh, my bad. I
Okay.
can persuade the crap out of the DM to roll a d20.
Excellent. Okay.
there you go.
All right. Excellent. So and ask. Okay. Cool. In that case, ask. You find yourself. Your lizard is just sort of like a bit skittish. It seems to be like it's stepping on things. It doesn't. It kind of pulls back its foot, and so you kind of fight to control a little bit there. It doesn't seem to be causing damage to it, but it like steps on something and then pulls back away all of a sudden, as if like something was stuck into it there. You examine the ground around there, and we'll see. Yes, there is sort of like it's like when it steps, there's like like a root structure, and the root structure has little spines on it. And so as it steps down and kind of sinks into the dusty ground, it like sticks into these spines and pulls back a little bit. Um, it's doing okay, but occasionally it's like stops and pulls back. It's not enough to cause it really damage; it's more discomfort. Um, so you find yourself sort of like having to kind of like reorient it and keep it under control. So you're having a difficult time making anything other than spotting that. Um, however, with um, uh, with Nameless and Athena, um, look at the name of this again. You're sort of I'll come back to you in a moment here. Looking at it from the sky, you just sort of see. You'll notice the ocean from your view, looking down at there. Again, is that grayish blue, very rough seas, and occasionally you will see like something kind of large and dark under the water. When the light hits it just right. You're not sure what kind of creature it is. If it's, I mean, neither of you are from coastal areas all that much, so you don't know much about what's in the ocean. But something large moves under the water. Um, maybe from an angle there again, you can't see much of the details of it. It's a large shape moves under the water. So something's out there. Those of you on land, however, uh, um, Nameless and Athena, as you're riding, you're kind of looking off there. You will see out across there. It's almost like a shimmer, like almost like a heat shimmer, but it's not warm enough for that. Um, yeah, it's a bit it's 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 very comfortable temperature wise. It's not bitter cold or anything else here. But you look out over there and there's this weird little heat shimmer, and you swear you can see sort of some structures kind of warp into view and then sort of disappear, like
Ooh,
some sort of a
spooky.
building or something. And you kind of shift your eyes and kind of squint a little bit there, and it just shimmers away and it's gone. Um, and
Boo.
it happens a couple times throughout the day as you travel. You never see anything that stays. Like you don't see something when you kind of see something there. You kind of look a little closer there, and it shimmers out of view again. But there is one thing you spot: something fairly large and dark takes to the skies somewhere inland, a ways. Again, you can't. It's hard to make out scale. But it's something off, pretty far off in the distance. There's something large and dark takes off into the sky and kind of flies off.
Can I assume it's the same size as that bird?
Cannot tell size. Again, it's
Cannot
something
tell size.
because again, like distance wise, it's large enough to see in the distance, but you can't really tell how close it is. Again, partially because of that heat shimmer thing. Like it's really hard to see, like judge distances across the way there.
I'm gonna point it out to everybody else.
Okay.
Keep an eye on that because that that concerns me.
Uh-huh.
Does Lucas see the
Um,
heat shimmer?
Was that
Does
from the
Lucas
sky?
see?
Not so much. Not so much. And now kind of looking off that direction, especially, kind of trying to scan the. Um, you don't really spot anything clearly. You might see a little bit of movement at one point, but again, you're not making out any details of what is there. It's just it's pretty far away. Like it's not very large at all from where you are. Again, it seems to be off the distance pretty far. But you don't see any structures that kind of waver in out of view. You don't see um, any large creatures or anything else from where you are.
If someone describes it to him, though, he'll probably think it's a mirage from the desert.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely see that phenomenon where basically you see we're looking across the heat. Yeah, whatever. With the it's
Yes. So
almost
I
3 years
would.
in. I can't say that word without you like just going
I
nuts.
Mm.
didn't do anything. I've not done
I saw the
anything.
look. I saw the look, and then you started cracking up.
So
Come on.
I said nothing.
so
So,
yes,
yes,
I will describe what I saw.
yes. Um,
As I've not been to the desert, I don't know that phenomenon.
Well, we went
yeah.
to Death Watch. Death Watch is sort of in the desert.
It's this dead scape everywhere. Um,
Yeah.
you see something. What you've seen there is actually more of a shimmer in the ruins themselves. Um, that's similar to that, but it's more just like kind of a weird distortion in the air. This is more just like that, like a mirage kind of thing like that. So, yeah, Lucas, it sounds similar to what you've seen there. But you don't normally see buildings. They describe seeing like structures of some kind, which is a little odd. Maybe it's rocky, a rocky outcrop of some kind, but again, you don't see anything like that from the sky. Um, and so night falls once again. That similar routine. Um, there is a low as night falls around you here. You don't hear the thudding anymore. You do hear sort of the constant crashing of waves. You're a little closer to the coastline than you were the last couple nights, and you hear the constant crashing of waves. And there is a low sort of deep bellowing cry that happens occasionally. Um, None of you are from the ocean, so you don't know what whale song sounds like, but I mean, it's coming from the water, and it's just sort of this low, sort of um, like bellowing cry. It's slightly just sort of distorted. Um, Nameless, you've heard it before. You've been on the coastline, but never seen what makes it. Sort of a sound that's there. Doesn't sound angry. Doesn't sound like hostile. It's just there. A little eerie, maybe. The evening. Actually, let me just one more thing here. Let me just pull up. Okay. Last watch was Athena again.
Yes,
Okay, so during your watch.
of
Um,
course.
yeah. Actually, no. We'll switch this around here. We'll go back around to first watch. So first watch was uh
Yes.
Esk. Okay, so Esk on your watch. As everyone's falling asleep there. Um, you will hear you will hear the flapping of wings. Just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And you kind of move to the window and look, and you see some sort of a dark. Well, it's hard to make out again distance wise here, but you have a good dark vision. There'll be something fairly large and dark moving kind of overhead, circling. Can't make any details other than just the movement of it up there. It seems to be pretty large. There's a kind of a rumble of some kind. Um, and then good. Something lands out there.
Ask what's going on out there.
I'm going to go to the hatch.
Yep.
Yep. See what's going on.
Your loud breath sound.
Stealthily, quietly open up the hatch.
You kind of move up on the hatch there and kind of go out there. And there's a kind of this weird growling sound out there. Some sniffing. Can't quite make out because it's beyond the range of your dark vision, but there's something out there. Kind of low thudding footsteps.
Um, just I'm watching.
Okay.
I might.
Um, Eventually, just at the edge of your dark vision, it's hard to make out there, but you sort of see something large just on the edge of it there. Just kind of, you can't quite make out the full size of it. It's just
I'm
moving along,
gonna
and you
just pick
see.
up, send like
Sure.
a little thing to Amethyst there.
Just
Kind of like go like kind of back down and just kind of shake Amethyst.
Hmm? What?
I'm gonna hold my hand over your mouth 1 second. So small problem. We must be quiet, but you have better sight than I do at this time. Yeah.
When he says be quiet, I'll telepathically say, well, let's continue this here then.
Alrighty.
okay. And with this, as he's talking to you, as you can, and there's you sort of hear a thud, 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 and
Oh.
you can hear a crunch of like something, as as something large is moving out there outside somewhere, and there's a
I better go and have a look.
okay. Um, there's with your longer dart vision, you will spot. Let me just double check one thing on the sight range of something here. With how far can it see in the dark? Where is he at? Go. Okay. You will see what looks to be a long dragon shape moving just at the edge of your dark vision.
Mm.
And it's just sort of like pauses, sniffs. Doesn't say or do anything, but it's sort of like looking around. And it's not getting any closer. It's kind of staying out there. It's the edge of your dark vision, but you can see it out there. Black scales, very flat black. That's why you almost couldn't see it. It's mostly because it's moving a little bit. You can spot it. And you're going to see this kind of luminous, kind of yellowish eyes as it kind of looks around, the kind of the gleaming like teeth. It kind of like as it kind of like sniffs the air around there, but doesn't seem to get any closer. And then
I'll telepathically tell Ask there's a dark coloured dragon out there. About
S just gets really big eyes.
about 100 or so feet away.
Yep.
Seems to be
And
staying there at the moment.
it's definitely like sniffing the air and kind of like smelling for anything. Just sort of you hear sort of a low. It has a sound of frustration to it, and you realize it's not like it's an animal, like it's just making sort of a grumpy sound of like nothing, that like you almost expect it to say something, but it just sort of grunts in displeasure, and then you kind of see it hunch down and just push itself in the air with one just massive push. The wings pop up and it flies off inland. As it rolled a 2 and a 1 on its perception check. So it did not smell any of you. It just saw this weird thing that was here and no sign of life. So it just, as if it didn't find anything, it didn't bother to go any closer and went, I'm out of here.
Seems to have flown off for now. But we need to keep our eye open. Because if that comes back, then that'll be fun.
Yes, it will.
You will, the rest of the night is quiet, very, very quiet. There's no sound of animals. There's no sound other than the waves and the occasional like whale song that happens out there in the water, which fades away after time. It's not really, doesn't seem to be getting like it's just faintly you can hear it. Then you know what you're listening for. You hear nothing from outside around you other than that. You wake up, get your stuff together, kind of pull in the tower. Examining the area out where this thing was, you will spot definite scoring on the ground of something acidic.
Right.
like acid dripped and left little like pockets of melted stone and dirt, and any of the scrubby plants have sort of like melted away.
Do we know what
Blackened
colour
spot.
dragons do acid damage, acid breath?
That would be black.
Yeah,
You guys,
but do you know? Do we
we
know?
know.
you guys researched a lot of dragons there when you were doing Drakal stuff there, and yes,
Yeah.
That's true.
A
black dragons
whole lot of
and copper dragons actually also use. You never met any copper dragon again, but yes, they
I
also do acid.
don't think it was copper though. I only saw it with dark vision, but it seemed like it was very dark in colour. So I'm gonna go with black.
At the end,
So
you think that's probably what you saw take off into the sky, way off in the distance there. It's
Still
somewhere out
wondering.
there.
Got a dragon. We should go get it.
what?
Maybe it dropped
do you
the
wanna-
scale.
Why do you want to fight a dragon?
Yeah, can we go see? Because there's only like 100 feet off, right? Just go look around there.
Well,
see
yeah,
if-
after you see the acid.
other than just the
acid
acid
pouring.
burns.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they don't shed scales that easily. It's like,
Mm-mm.
maybe in their lair, but they wouldn't be shedding scales just like standing around, walking around. Typically. So, yeah, black dragons, and strangely, Athena seems to be very eager to fight the dragon.
Just
Yeah,
like
I don't
any
know why.
dragon. Any dragon. It doesn't matter what color it is.
But
Any
why?
dragon.
We've got enough to do while we're here without picking fights with every dragon we see.
Well, why are we not fighting him to get out of our way?
They're not in our
Like,
way.
it clearly.
In our way.
Well,
If
they're
they
not-
came
yeah.
and attacked us, then they're in our way. But if they sniff around, don't see us, and bugger off again, then that's okay, isn't it?
Hide,
Sure.
hide. Hide, hide. 1, 2,
Yep.
3, 4, 5, hide.
Yeah, you see sort of as you look, you definitely see Nameless kind of like ducking behind a rock here, kind of like moving to the side or getting low and kind of staying out of view, hiding behind his shield.
He skips 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hide.
Which, oddly enough, he's wearing plate armor does not prevent him from hiding. He doesn't make. You don't hear the sound of clanking of plates or anything else, even though he's definitely
Black
wearing.
goo armor.
Mm-hmm.
So, as the day continues, as the morning passes, you see evidence of the dragon left behind, that it was here. You're able to kind of make your plans. You want to bring the rock. The rock is ready to come back. If you want to use that today, or you want to stay low, what do you feel like?
Well, we saw a dragon. What do you guys want to do?
I think dragon only comes out at night.
Or is it Dracula?
I think Dracula the dragon only comes out at night.
I'll summon the rock. I'll
Okay.
just make it easy.
So the tower goes away, the rock comes out, and you guys are able to kind of take off. As today, the sky is just gray, solid, flat gray. It is a dreary look to things. As the harsh brightness you become to expect it from the days, it's not that way here. It's definitely just this flat gray throughout the whole sky. It's still bright enough to see, and it's all normal. And you can sort of see sort of a weird orangish red ball on the horizon that rises up where the sun actually this way rises up in there. But it never really gets brighter or darker. It's just for this dull orangish red that rises up into the sky. And as you climb aboard the rock and start your next trek down toward your lock, well, that's what we're going to call it today. So,
Yeah. Jim, before we go, because this is the first time I've done it, how many hit die does it take for him to be summoned again?
Well, essentially, during your rest, you would spend a short die to lower the cooldown to 1 day, and now it's ready.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I still have all my hit die. Okay.
yeah. So you had to do it. Literally do it yesterday, or anytime you do a short rest, you can spend a hit die. But a long
Okay.
rest, it would come back. So
Okay.
if you keep up that pattern, it's basically summon it, spend a hit die, bring it out in one day, and then it's ready every other day.
Awesome. Okay.
So
Thank you.
you could keep it out for longer and expend more hit dice to bring it down to one day. So there is that option as well. If you want to just bring it out and keep it out for a couple days. Up to
Can
you.
only Athena put hit die into it?
Yes, only the person attuned to it.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's why if a spellcaster tunes to it, they spend either hit dice or spell slots, but she doesn't have spell slots, so she has
Mm.
to do hit dice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. In that case, we're going to wrap things up here today. Those of you watching in the future here, thanks for checking things out here. We're going to have this video loaded up we hopefully very, very soon. And obviously, if you're watching this now, you would have watched it all on the whole way there. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. We'll be live again soon. Just a quick announcement there because I wasn't able to announce this earlier because we weren't recording then. But we'll be playing next week on the November 2nd, but November 9th we will not. Just to keep that in mind here. And then we'll see what's going to happen around the holiday time as they're coming up, as people's schedules kind of change and shift over time. So first, last thing I want to say is welcome, Dow. Good to have you here. Nice to have a full party again. Um, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Drinks are on us. We'll see you again real soon. Take care,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.